All right, what up, guys? We are live. So I'm using an external microphone finally. So let me know how you're liking the audio quality, right? So the video quality should be the same, but let me know how you're liking the audio quality. Okay, so let me lay out the agenda. This is going to be a three-part podcast. First part, we will be having a debate. This is a guy who was in the last live chat, and he asked me, he's like, "Yo, Alex, how do I get in touch with you, man? I want to debate you about this." And yeah, I'm like, okay, cool. Well, you can just email me. So we set it up. He wants to debate about the merits of online dating. He thinks it's detrimental to men's self development. So we're going to debate that. Part two is going to be interesting. I will be addressing all the recent criticism I've gotten in the recent podcast with Kevin. So there's been a lot of people who've been criticizing. And I think there's a lot of things I want to clear up. So I'm going to address all of them. And then the third part is going to be I'm just going to literally invite anyone on in the audience to come on and speak their mind. And you can tell me, if you disagree with the way I'm running the channel, you have some suggestions, or you want to debate me about something, challenge me about anything, you can come on. I'm going to open it up completely to anyone and everyone, right? Because one thing I believe in is a open platform. So we're just waiting for the guy to get set up. But yeah, so yeah, three-part podcast. So make sure you stay for the whole thing. Probably go for like 2 hours, but I'll stay on as long as we need to until we get through everything. So what happened to the Mr. Slate debate? It got moved due to scheduling conflicts. It's going to be, I don't know, I think like next Thursday. We're still trying to set it up. Alex is very unprofessional starting the streams late. Well, I literally started completely on time today, but yeah, sometimes I do start late. It kind of is what it is. Sorry if it inconveniences you. Yes, I mean, yeah, I am usually pretty bad with times, so I will acknowledge that. Okay. Yo, Alex, can you address my latest video? Sure. I don't know what it is though, but I can play it. Can you link me your video? How do I find your channel? Include a link to your channel to the video, and I will pull it up, and we will. I will address it in part two. So not a problem. Always happy to do that. But yeah, I haven't seen it yet. Okay. Playing with Fire and DP wants to debate you on Family Guy versus Game of Thrones for sure. Yes. Oh yeah. Wingman Plus is going to be coming on the channel on Monday. So this is going to be an epic crossover. Wingman Plus is one of the very, very few guys I know, if any, on YouTube who's doing very technical texting videos like me. So yeah, I'm excited to do that and have him on. It's going to be a good time. Okay, so I guess this is the link. Okay, cool. I will let me load it up now, and then we'll get into it after the debate. Let me see. The only problem is I can't actually click on the link. Yeah, I can't click on it. Let me try to see if I can pull it up by finding your channel. So hold up a second, Black Silver. Let's see if we can find you. I search Black Silver, nothing comes up. Let me try searching Black Silver, like playing with fire or something. Playing with fire. Okay, let's see if that comes up. Black Silver, I'm trying to search your channel. Okay, let me just share my screen. So you can see, because I can't actually click on that link. Okay. How do I find you? So I search Black Silver. Nothing comes up. I've seen your videos in the past. I just don't know how to find you. So yeah, how do I find your channel? Like, what should I search for? For example, with Playing with Fire, you can just search like Playing with Fire Tinder and it comes up. So for you, I don't know. Let me try. I don't know, like Coach Whitepill or something. Black Silver, Coach Whitepill. Oh, fuck. Black Silver, Coach Whitepill. Coach. Keyboard is wilding out. Okay, let's see if that works. Okay, I think I found your channel. There we go. Okay, yeah, I will respond to your video. Not a problem. We're gonna do that in the second part of the thing. Okay, cool. All right, I got it pulled up. Okay, what else do we have? PWF, would you host a debate between Real Coach Ron John so they can air their grievance on each other? I would be more than happy to host that. John doesn't want to do it. There's no way I can get him to do it, so it's out of my control. Okay. Alex is still losing the debate with his eyesight or lack thereof. Very constructive comment. I'm happy you're keeping it on point. Thank you, sir. What's your take on approaching girls at the gym? Uh, okay, this guy's saying he's having some tech issues. Uh, what's your take on approaching girls at the gym? I think it's cool. Yeah, approach girls at the gym. I have videos on it where I kind of cover what you need to do. I debunked Wheat Waffles, Alex. Watch the whole thing. Appreciate it. Okay. Yeah. Well, am I in the video? Like, is this video about me? Because if it's just about Wheat Waffles, I don't know how interesting it is going to be to my audience because like 80% of people don't really care about Wheat Waffles in my channel. So the video has to like involve me somehow. What are the objective measurements of charisma? For instance, I find that in the Big Bang Theory, Major Cringe, Belagros, but charismatic. What's the objective standards? There is no like objective. I would say it's confidence, humor, good body language, strong eye contact, yeah, stuff like that. Yes, you are on Jay and Anthony lifestyle. Okay, yeah, I can play it. Uh, I hate doing things about John on my channel though, because he's not here to refute it. So I might skip those parts. But yeah, I'll talk about the stuff that involves me. Uh, have you coached a boot camp before? So how was it? I have never coached a boot camp before. I have no desire to ever coach a boot camp before. Not something that appeals to me at all. Do you agree that your dog is a crutch? Yes or no? Uh, Partially. I mean, I was getting laid a lot from cold approach way before I had my dog. I got my dog in 2020. At that point, I was like already slept with hundreds of girls, a good amount of them from cold approach. I do agree that the dog definitely helps open, especially because Miami's really competitive. It's pretty good having a dog. It kind of like smooths the table. Like it makes the initial stages much easier. It doesn't really do anything to like build attraction or get the girl to fuck you, but it does help with the initial stages of the opener. The girl is less likely to reject you because it's like, oh, this guy's more harmless. He's got a dog, right? Also, Miami is like littered with pickup artists, so any girl in Miami gets approached dozens of times. So yeah, it does definitely provide a good, let's just say, intro to the opener. Yeah, it helps with the opener, but I think that's mainly where the benefits end. Do you do face ratings? I do not do face ratings. Okay, what else do we have? It involves John calling you more dry try than he is, Alex. Better not skip that. It involves John calling you more dry. Okay, we'll play it. You should do a reaction to my two commentary texting game in 7 minutes. Well, I want to. I can't do like just reaction after reaction. Maybe in the next one. John says during his last live stream not to go for the kiss and make out during the date. 43-minute mark. Do you agree? Uh, I would probably disagree with that. I think getting a makeout can be good. I don't think you always have to do it. I've had many situations where I didn't go for the makeout, but generally speaking, I think getting a makeout on the date can be helpful. Do you agree with the premise that attraction can only be destroyed, not created through game? No, I disagree with that. I think attraction can definitely be destroyed with bad game, but I think it can also be enhanced. I don't think you're going to take a girl who finds you like despicable and make her super attracted to you through game. But I think you can take a girl who's neutral and make her attracted through game. Yes. Okay, I think I got a private chat. No, short sale sumo. So this is the guy in the background. I cannot hear you. It says your device is not connected, so I cannot even add you to the stream. So you're not on the stream. I can't hear you. I cannot see you. You have to put in your camera, or at the very least have an avatar. It has to be the device has to be connected. I want to call you out for the cuck stream or the one where you let those girls just spare to you in your house. That's pretty ironic coming from you, Q2, but sure, you can come on and you can present your argument. I'll be happy to debunk it. In Jack Demo's video, the girls like him, giggle, smile, laugh, even if they have a boyfriend 99%. Do you think edits out the bad approaches? I'm sure he does. I think pretty much every YouTuber does, including myself. Like, I have I have rejection compilations, but when I upload infield, it's the ones that went well. I don't upload the ones where the girl's like, hey, sorry, I have a boyfriend, unless it's like a whatever rejection compilation. So I think every YouTuber does that. Yeah, I think that's normal. No, I do not. I do not. I have not seen that. I will drop the link once we get through the debate, and then the when I start after I address the criticism. So I will drop the link, but it's going to be later on in the show. Do you think KRW is cringe? Well, I mean, if I thought he was cringe, I would not have him on my channel. So I think you guys know the answer to that. No, I don't think he's cringe. I don't think he's like a master at game or something like that, but it doesn't make him cringe. Can you get an LTR from Cold Approach, Alex? Yes, I have personally had many, not many, but a few LTRs from Cold Approach. Okay. When you drop the link, can you pin it? Yep. I will do that. Okay, let me give this guy a little bit more. If not, we'll just jump, I guess, straight to the Black Silver video. I don't know. Are you having? I mean, if this guy can't make it, then he can't make it, I guess. Yeah, you know what? We can. How long is this video that Black Silver has? It's 22 minutes. Holy shit. Black Silver, it's a 22-minute video. Oh my God. Dude, that's going to take me 40 minutes to review. Black Silver, can you tell me what are the key parts of the video? A 22-minute video is going to be a lot to review. That's going to be a 40-minute endeavor. You're going to have to kind of narrow it down and tell me what are the highlights. Have your opinions on White Pill changed? Nope, they haven't changed at all. Are you still on good terms? No, we have not been on good terms for a while. Okay. Yeah, short sale sumo. I still can't add you. It still says your device is not connected. Mostly at the beginning, bro. Okay, so why don't we do this? I will play the first 10 minutes of that video and react to it. I will need to, yeah. Okay. I'm going to need to hook up my headphones, though, for the echo not to be fucking brutal. Okay, so let me hook up my headphones, and then we'll get into it. Okay. Okay, let's do it. Oh, this guy. Okay, so short sale sumo, you got 20 minutes to figure this shit out because I'm just going to react to this video while you're figuring this out. Wait, hold up. That's not the right mic. Okay. Well, let's crack into Black Silver's video. Okay. Let me think of, hang on. Let me just fuck with my settings so that the quality is good. Okay. That should be fine. Okay. Let me know. I'm going to start reacting to the video. Let me know what, if the audio is good on your end. I think everything should be fine. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, how's the audio? I'm gonna also play this at 1.25 the speed because it's gonna go faster that way. The graphics are cool. I will say that.
There's some mystery about why women seem to be attracted to these so-called dark triad traits. And I would say that they're using them as insufficient markers for the ability to or the acquisition of status. So, and narcissists capitalize on that, right? Because a narcissist looks confident. And lots of confident people are competent. But some confident people aren't competent, but they can fool you.
But this guy, I think, is incredibly overrated. Kind of a big blowhard, fucking annoying as well.
Just us two, Sasha.
Hi. What is your name, by the way, Alex?
Yeah, my name is Zach. So let me hear a fun fact, though. In Russian, my name is Sasha, too.
Yes, I know that.
Okay, so, yeah, so far, yeah, I mean, that's just statements of fact. What happened? You just met me 2 seconds ago.
I mean, I know that your nickname in Russian would be Sasha, because all, like, Alexander is Sasha, right?
Do you know a lot about Russian culture?
I just know a lot about, I guess, a lot of cultures.
Damn girl, you fancy, you smart. You're John said you're Indian?
Yeah, I'm Indian and part Persian.
Oh.
There you go, Sage. Fuck this hot 18-year-old. Have you read this before?
Yeah, I read it before.
It'd be really funny if like you forgot that you threw in some things that are like insulting to her, like her vagina smelled like shit, but like I just fucking ignored that and God, she was the worst ever. Okay.
So I'm talking about like my wingman, like blah blah blah.
Well, let's read it out loud since we have it up. You're going too fast.
Okay. So this is funny as fuck. I fucked this hottie.
There's honestly not too much for me to react to right now. It's just like, yeah, that's what happened on the live stream. I don't know what else I could say. Yeah, that's like directly taken from the live stream.
She's gonna be a fuck buddy. Just like gay. This is like the only time I ever did this too. Like she was like trying to like go past me, and she's like, "Did you come from?" She was living near like one of the gay clubs. And she's like, the only reason she was gonna stop is
Was like, this is my boyfriend. Like, talking to him about stuff that I
so
talk to, like,
right now. That's
yeah, well, I would talk to like, I would be like, oh, like, don't you like this makeup? And like, aren't these shoes like so cool?
Yeah,
and she was like
fucking
talking
annoying.
to me about all this.
that shit was fucking annoying. You like.
I feel like
Yeah,
John's
she was like-
voice was way too deep to be.
She said the guy's busted quick. Only fucked her missionary. I fucked her in like 20 positions. Gave her a ton of orgasm. She was in heaven and wants much more. She teased me for taking my girl virginity. I found there's an update.
Read the last part. You were
I don't know if I can read that. I don't know if I can read that.
I'm an MPUA, not a fag. This video is not in any way endorsement of dark triad tactics. I'm simply bringing awareness to something that already. So let's read this. I'm not so sure about where Alex leans most on, but his relationship with his girlfriend, who's one-way open relationship, I find it to be learning a bit towards the dark, but I find him altruistic and mostly free content about his dating isn't bad tried, but he doesn't call out John's tactics, which is bad look on him, but calls out on which leads him into the lie trap. Yeah, I don't think there's anything even mildly dark tried about my relationship. I'm extremely upfront with my girlfriend. We're very transparent with each other. So yeah, there's nothing dark tried there. I would agree that I am quite altruistic, although I do run a business and I still, have a business interest. It doesn't call out John Anthony's tactics, which is a bad look on him. Here's the thing. I typically don't really care about other POAs using dark triad tactics or not. It doesn't really matter to me at all. I don't judge them. I personally use only very mild dark triad tactics. Like the one that you can make argument that I do is like mass scheduling dates. So I'll set up like 3 dates for like 8 p.m. and then flake on the girl who's like who are not as hot. That's kind of like low-key dark triad, light triad, whatever. The reason I call out Coach Whitepill is more for hypocrisy, like him saying one thing, like saying, oh yeah, I'm not afraid to debate anybody, and then backing out debates, him being afraid to do the virtual speed dating, and him not actually having good game. Whether you think John is dark triad, light triad, or like no triad at all, you can't really argue the fact that he has good game. The means that the means it takes him to get there is largely irrelevant to me. Again, probably some things that he does I wouldn't do and vice versa, but that's not something for me to call out. Like, I just don't care about that. What you don't see me doing on this channel is I don't like virtue signal and say, oh my God, this person is so unethical. I'm so much more ethical than him. I typically call out things like outright lies and hypocrisy and people who have no game but say they do have game. Those are typically the things that I will call out. Exists. I'm giving you guys the information. When you choose to do that information is up to you. Well, girls is going to be actually very informative because you're going to know which kind of guys to watch out for. I personally did not really engage in any of these dark triad tactics simply because I think they're fucked up. Also, I think long term they're more likely to hurt you than help you. And I'm personally not a fan of lying. I try to be very honest. Little white lies here and there I think are okay, but substantial lies, I'm not a fan of. An example would this be a guy who tells a girl that he's interested in dating with her. So again, I vouch for John's results and the way he teaches his students. I'm not saying that you should use dark triad tactics, right? I'm not saying that. I'm saying that he has his method. I have my method. Go with the method that you like most, right? And what's it called? We kind of draw the line a little bit differently when it comes to, I don't know, let's just say white lies, me and John. But what I'm vouching for is the results and like what I've seen him do, which is him pick up girls. I'm not saying, yo, you guys should lie in order to get laid. I'm not saying that. I don't care whether you guys do that or you don't do that. That is totally up to you to make that decision. Just so you can sleep with her, right? That is an example of a substantial lie and something I would not do. However, you can see that if a guy was willing to do that, how that might short-term lead to better outcome with women in terms of sleeping with them. That is, the Tinder swindler did this all the time. Like, he would lie to these girls about everything. He would lie to them about his intentions. He would lie to them about his background. He would lie to them about like literally anything and everything.
Even when it's far, I was like, at first, I was like, you don't really look gay. Are you really gay? And he's like, yeah. And he even pulled up a picture of a guy, like a little twinkie ass guy, and was like, this is my boyfriend.
Next person on the list, we have John John Anthony. Now, look, I understand John Anthony is a controversial figure. You might think that he's an asshole or whatever, and everyone's entitled to their own opinion. However, you cannot deny the fact that his game is really, really fucking sick.
Can you list off what those characteristics are?
Absolutely.
Exactly. Yeah, his game is fucking sick, and there are elements of Dark Triad tactics incorporated in there, just like there's much less elements of Dark Triad incorporated in my game, right? That doesn't mean that you have to take that same route. You can just pick and choose the things that you like and the things that you don't like. So if you like everything about him, like the confidence, like whatever his texting scripts, but you don't like the fact that he's willing to like lie about certain things, then just don't do that. I mean, you can kind of pick and choose.
So the Dark Triad are 3 personality traits that are found in individuals. So you have Machiavellianism, which is typically described as sort of manipulation or the ability to manipulate. The second is narcissism. The third is psychopathy. So callousness, lying, thrill-seeking. It's said by psychologists that these 3 traits are quite negative.
But for some reason, they're attractive to women.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah.
Evil, but attractive.
Yeah, very, very attractive. So these individuals, it's important to keep in mind that they're very low in neuroticism. They're very high in openness. They're very low in conscientiousness, very high in extroversion. Those characteristics on their own are pretty attractive. A narcissist smiles, speaks nicely, wears very nice clothes. So that in and of itself is pretty attractive to women, right? A person that is Machiavellian is very disagreeable. And what the statistics indicate is that an individual that is highly disagreeable, if they are below the mean level of disagreeability, they typically make 18.3% more in terms of yearly income. And that translates to about $9,722 per year.
One, because I know that Alex advocates for heavily editing Tinder photos. So maybe you can cover this because you guys are like, it's fake. But then Alex is saying, well, you should edit your photos and make them look as best possible. He's even doing deepfake stuff, but you don't want to catfish because obviously that's
Okay, so let's kind of establish that. I'm not advocating for catfishing, for deepfakes. I did the deepfake experiment. I wanted to try it. I did it for a video. There are people in my mastermind group who do want to do the deepfakes. That is their prerogative. I don't tell people to do it, but if people want to do it, I'm not going to judge them for it. Everyone has the right to decide their own ethics, what they're willing to do and they're not willing to do. I don't shame people for having different ethics than me. Again, I'm not going to virtue signal. I think that shit is super lame. So yeah, I'm not like pushing for people to do deepfakes. I don't like even fucking have it anywhere in my product, right? I don't care that much about it.
Alex goes further than me. Alex goes much further than me. I don't teach deepfake stuff. The process we use on the program is guys get a professional photo shoot. Then we have a team of hot girls.
Yeah, again, I think this is just a misunderstanding. I think John was probably under the impression that I was pushing the deepfake stuff when in reality it's just something that I tried for an experiment and something that a few people who I know have done. So, right. So again, I don't think there's any kind of malicious intent here. I just think this is like him not really having the information, right? Which is fine.
Picks the top 5 photos, rates them 1 to 10 with decimal points. Brutally, honestly, not sugarcoating anything. And then we apply Face App with the Hollywood 2 impression, which does not catfish people 99.9% of the time. It looks like a normal photo. It's using artificial intelligence to subtly change things so you can't tell it was edited. And so you're going from average photos to the professional photos and the best of the pro photos, and then the stack upgrades on those. To this guy's point, I still do recommend as a potential option that they can use a green screen and green screen background. But most guys get that wrong because it looks fake because they didn't get the lighting. Yeah,
it is an option. Like, I don't think there's like you're somehow a horrible human being if you use a green screen. I don't think it's up to you to decide whether you want to do it or not do it. Is it in line with your ethics or is it something that you feel uncomfortable doing? And that's your choice, right? I don't think you're like a shitty human being if you use a deepfake or if you use a green screen or something like that. Like, that's just like people trying to virtue signal and make ethical judgments about other people's behavior.
Angles right and all that stuff. So I do have that as part of the teaching, but it's not usually used because people can't get it looking.
Let me address this comment. Keep defending the guy that shits on you, Alex. Like, literally what he said was like, how much of a little bitch would I have to be to get like butthurt by that? Literally what he says is Alex goes further than me when it comes to photos, right? Based on a lack of information, like, oh no, like I'm in my friendship with John, like, oh my God, I can't believe he said that. Oh no, like, oh my God, our friendship is over. Like you gotta be kidding me. Like, do you really think I give a shit about that little tiny remark that he made? I don't care at all. I know he didn't mean in bad faith. It doesn't affect me at all. I don't think it's like somehow like he's like shitting on me. It's like the dumbest thing ever. Okay, let's keep going.
Right, and it's not necessary either. It's just, like, but with Alex, he recommends using like pictures of guys doing amazing stuff that aren't you and putting those up, or putting models that look like that could look remotely close to you, the deep fake stuff. So that's full on. And again, those things give you an advantage. I don't teach that. Yeah. The furthest I go is including a green screen background.
Yeah, again, I think this is a misinformation. I think he was under the impression that this is something that I actively push. In reality, it's a video I did for an experiment. My current Tinder profile doesn't have any deepfakes in it. There's not one mention of a deepfake in my product. Again, it's a video I did. It's still up on my channel because I think it's a very, very interesting video. And if people want to do deepfakes, I think that's on them. I don't think they're shitty people for doing that. That's their decision. It's going to lead to a lot more girls, blowing out because some girls are going to be like, well, you don't look like your photos. But, it is what it is. It's their decision. They can do it if they want to do it.
Yeah. It's interesting because, I haven't gone that far. My guys, it depends on the city and the app they're using, whether they're successful. But I push a lot of my guys back more into cold approach just because it's so much more effective. They're getting hotter girls that way. They feel better about themselves because they're doing the work, not the app. So, I do have guys doing really well online, but I have a lot of guys that I'm just like, hey, get out there and cold approach. And that's the way they've gotten their results. I'll do something here too, though. John, we've talked about this. I'm not defending his dog.
Notice how Coach Whitepill looks sad here, I think, because he sacrificed his code of ethics to associate with a known individual that has opposite code beliefs. They definitely don't have that much in common. I will say that. It shows how Coach Whitepill is so driven to restore his room image. It's one of the reasons why I called CWP a bad grifter. While he's conflicted with his code of ethics, but he values earning profits more. I don't think it's about profits, actually. I just think that he wants to redeem his image. I think it's more of an ego thing. I don't think this is like really about money, or though it could be, but yeah, I don't know. I just think that, he feels like his ego is down because, the internet is kind of mocking him and he wants to like recover his image, which I guess is understandable, but, he's not going to do it, by dodging debates. I mean, he did debate me, which is fair, although he did say the whole Kevin thing, it was awful image. So that was like the one time I agreed to debate with major stipulations.
The doxing, well, I told you that I'm not a fan of that. We talked about that,
They're talking about with the wheat waffles.
Yeah, and so like the fact that I'm talking to you about game and stuff like that has nothing to do with the fact that I'm not defending your doxing. I talked about that.
Yeah, I actually agree with what Coach Whitepill is saying here. Like, just because you're friends with someone and you collaborate with them doesn't mean you endorse every single thing they do. I was also not a fan of John doing that. So what? Like, we have different ethics. Like, yeah, I didn't think that was like, he should have done that. That's my opinion. He's entitled to his own opinion. So yeah, you can talk to people, you can bring people on a channel and not 100% be behind every single thing that they've ever done. So I actually think Coach Whitepill makes a good point here.
That I do not.
And for the record, I don't see that as true doxing. I showed his public Facebook profile. I'm naming a picture. Okay, I don't care that he wants to hide behind a little waffles picture. Okay, I wanted people to know that the person they're allowing to inflict massive amounts of pain and depression and even driving some people to suicide or mass school shootings, as was shown.
Okay, so that's about 10 minutes. I mean, we kind of got through it. Black Silver, if there's other things here that you want to actually discuss, you can come on my channel when we do the open forum and we can literally get into anything and everything. So yeah, cool. All right, let's bring on the person. Hello.
Yo, you hear me?
What's up? Yeah, I can't see you, but I can hear you. But fine, let's just make the best.
Yeah. Well, I had to get on via phone because for whatever reason I've reset the mic, reset the cam, reset it on Chrome, and it still wouldn't attach the phone. So I will turn the camera on so all of you can see me, but because it's my phone, then I'll put it back to just the avatar.
Okay.
Which is me from Halloween. So.
Okay, cool. All right, so let's get into it. So guys, this is I guess it's gonna be a 4-part stream. So the first part was reacting to Black Silver's video. It was kind of spontaneous, but a lot of you guys in the comments wanted me to do it, so I did it. Black Silver has an invite on my channel. He can come on when we do the open forum and we can discuss anything else. If he disagrees with anything I said, I'm more than happy to have anyone on. Okay, so this is gonna be the second part, which is gonna be the debate part between me and Mr. Short Sale Sumo. So I'll let you kick it off. I mean, we kind of discussed earlier, but just kick off your arguments.
The first argument that I have is online game in general, I feel, and the results that I've seen hinder development in a lot of, if not every other part of your life. It has no purpose except to get you laid, which if that's the only thing you're lacking in your life, that's fine. It doesn't help you in business. It doesn't help you in social interactions. It doesn't teach you anything regarding conflict resolution.
Yeah, I don't I don't think people are going on Tinder to improve their business. Yeah, it does help you with getting laid. I think there might be a little bit more benefit than that. I think if you're in a bet, or if you're in like a bad rut, meaning like you haven't been laid in like 6 months and you're just like, it's kind of affecting like the way you talk to girls, you can use Tinder to kind of get out of that rut. You can use Tinder to like meet, your girlfriend, my current girlfriend I met on Bumble. But yeah, Tinder's not going to help you with like your business or like, like your, I don't know, like your mental health or something like that.
In general, whether it be Tinder, whether it be Bumble, whether it be whatever the one with the H is, I mean, to me, there's no benefit other than, I mean, sex. And if you go on there and you don't get any results, then where are you mentally, physically, emotionally, all of that?
Would you say that having a girlfriend is a benefit to your life?
What depends? Is it a positive relationship where both of you are growing and improving, or is it a negative relationship where both of you are toxic and you are both together for a need basis? You didn't choose, you just settled into it.
Well, let's say it's a great relationship that is awesome in every way.
Well, it depends what your goal is. I mean, if it's great in every way and you're looking for a long-term relationship or a marriage, then obviously it could be beneficial to your life.
Well, we're just talking about in terms of your overall happiness. Like, would you say that being in a really good, awesome relationship with a partner who really cares about you and is supportive can be beneficial to your mental health and well-being?
Of course.
Okay.
Of course.
So then, I met my girlfriend who is awesome through Bumble. I have a lot of clients who met their girlfriends through, Tinder, Bumble, Hinge. So yeah, I mean, that kind of disproves your previous argument that Tinder's only for fucking.
Well, couldn't you have met her doing cold approach while developing all other areas of your life?
Maybe yes, maybe no. I mean, not every, like, that's like saying, well, couldn't you have, that's like, okay, you can make this argument because like, you're like, Alex, you have a YouTube channel, but couldn't you have just like, like worked your way up the corporate hierarchy and made a lot of money that way? Or couldn't you have just like worked at Fox News and then like become a news anchor? Maybe yes, maybe no. There's no way to know. But if it's a tool that helps you achieve what you want, then I don't see a problem with it.
Yes, but you're saying what my issue is. You're saying, okay, can you use it to get into a relationship? Of course. You can also use cold approach to get into a relationship. But in what other ways does online help you in your life? I mean, the relationship thing, yes.
Well, I think people aren't downloading dating apps to like it generally, like people aren't going on Tinder for self-improvement. People are going on Tinder either to get laid or to get a girlfriend or to find a fuck buddy, right? So no one's going on dating apps for self-improvement.
Understood. Point taken. But that isn't the point. The point that I'm making is it only has one use. There's no other benefit to using online.
Well, there's several benefits. One is what's it called? Of course, is getting laid. The other one is you can get a girlfriend. I would say also secondary benefit is that having sex and being in a relationship and having relations with women can be good for your overall mental well-being. It can free up time for you to focus on your business. So, for example, a lot of people, they don't have much free time. They work a lot. Like when I was working in corporate sales, I was working 50 hours a week. At that point, I was already really good at cold approach. I had already banged well over 100 girls from cold approach, but I didn't have the time or the mental energy to go out and cold approach. So my options would be either to, one, quit my job, which wasn't an option, two, just give up sex, which I didn't really want to do, or three, utilize Tinder and dating apps. And I think that was the best option for me. So yeah, different people, different circumstances. Sometimes it can be useful. Sometimes it's not exactly what you need.
But you stated that you were already good at cold approach.
Yeah, I was already good at cold approach. The point I was trying to make is that I could meet girls from cold approach. I just didn't have the time to.
Well, I think it should be a prerequisite that you should be good at cold approach and be able to meet women through cold approach before you would ever use any online app.
Well, why do you feel like you're entitled to tell other people how to live their lives and how to use dating apps?
I'm not telling them how to live their life or how to use dating apps. I'm telling them how to get ahead in the world and compress it into something it's multifaceted. It's not just one thing.
I mean, look, if you feel like the best way is to, is to get good at cold approach before doing dating apps, you're so entitled to your opinion and you can live your life that way. I don't think it's mutually exclusive. I think you should just do both. If you have the free time, you do cold approach and dating apps. I think they're very synergistic. So I don't know why you would have to pick one or the other.
Because, and whoever, I mean, if anyone wants to put it in the chat, if they agree, put a 1. If they disagree, put a 2. They're friends who have used dating apps prior to doing cold approach, or going from cold approach into dating apps. Was their cold approach game affected by using dating apps? And here's the argument that I'll make. You have a sugar baby. She gets everything for free. I'm not saying that online is easy or it's a slam dunk. But what I'm saying is, if you give a sugar baby everything for free, is she going to develop herself?
But not everyone cares about developing themselves. Some people don't care about self-development. Some people are trying to live a life. Some people are trying to focus on their business. Like, not everyone is trying to like master self-development.
Yeah, but you just said that. Okay, so you're telling me that cold approach will help you with your business? Do we agree on that?
No, I don't think cold approach will help you with your business. I think focusing on business is what's going to help you with your business. No one pays me money. My business doesn't thrive on me going out and banging chicks. My business thrives on me answering emails, providing value, having marketing calls. Business is not that exciting. No, I don't get paid to fuck girls. I wish that was the case.
Well, so business doesn't help you. Cold approach does not help you with your business, you're saying?
No.
I mean, it helps me massively. And it helps a lot of people that I know that are in my group, and people that I associate with. It helps them massively, to the point where there were a lot of these high executives. I am obviously not a high executive. I can barely use a laptop. But what I'm saying is, they were paid by their company to take boot camps, to take teachings of, pickup artist teachings, paid by their company to take those, for them to be better dealing with people in a boardroom, better dealing with people in sales, better dealing with people all around, just in general, and confidence.
What percentage of Fortune 500 CEOs do you think know what the word cold approach even means?
I don't know.
It's like 0%, maybe one of them. Like, none of the CEOs, none of the top executives, none of the guys who are running the businesses, Elon Musk, Bill Gates, none of those guys know even what the word cold approach even means. So yeah, I don't think cold approach is a prerequisite to be successful in business. In fact, I would argue they could potentially take up so much time that you don't have time to focus on your business. I think you get good at business by focusing on business. I think you get good at fucking girls by doing cold approach, right? But yeah, there might be a little bit of a crossover, meaning like you get good at cold approach, it makes you more confident, and that carries over to like the way you interact with your clients. Yeah, there's a little bit of a carryover effect, but you're going to get your biggest bang for your buck when it comes to business by focusing on business.
So the skills that you develop for your business, I mean, maybe it doesn't apply in your business. I mean, if you're making YouTube videos, that doesn't apply. But if you have to deal with people every day, there's no way you can tell me that cold approach does not help you all around in your business.
Well, I do deal with people all day, every day. Like, for example, I'm talking to you right now. That's literally what I do is I deal with people. I comment on social interactions. So my job is extremely, extremely, extremely social. I'm constantly networking with other content creators. But yeah, like, I think that there's a whole bunch of like the biggest content creators at the top. Like, let's take someone like, I don't know, PewDiePie, right? He's like the top, or Mr. Beast, right? Both of those guys are pretty socially awkward. Like, none of those guys have ever done cold approach, right? And they're insanely successful content creators. That's because they focus all their energy on content creation. So I'm going to get, okay, so like, for example, I want to get better at debating, right? I could focus on cold approach, and I could have a little bit of carryover effect for my debating, or I could just focus on debates, and that will make me a better debater, right? I want to get better at networking. I could do cold approach, and then maybe that'll have some carryover effect, or I could just focus on networking all day, right? And that will help me a lot more. So the best way to get better at a certain field is practicing that field. not by practicing other fields.
Well, I told you my background and why I initially got into it. And cold approach helped me massively in raising money. Now I'll bring the point of, you have Elon Musk. Obviously, he's completely socially awkward. He's been divorced how many times? Then you have Jeff Bezos. He divorced his wife, and he's with a woman that has 4 kids by 3 baby dads. If he wanted a hood rat, he should have just went to the block and picked up a hood rat. So obviously, yes, do they know about cold approach? I don't know. But obviously they lack social skills massively, and they have massive imbalance in their life.
Sure, they lack social skills, but that didn't stop them at dominating whatever field they're pursuing. Like, I think you should be like, okay, if you ask me, I think you should be a well-rounded human being, and I think you should develop good social skills. You should be able to do cold approach. You should be good at networking. You should be good at interacting with men and women. You should be good at public speaking. You should be a well-rounded human being. I agree with you on that premise. I just don't think that you're going to become better at business by focusing on cold approach. But my goal in life isn't just to be the ultimate businessman. My personal goal in life is to be a very well-rounded human being who's happy. But there's other people who don't care about that. They just want to dominate whatever field they're pursuing. They want to be the best journalist. They want to be the best business person. They want to be the best, broadcaster, right? Like, some people don't care about just being a very well-rounded human being. They just want to dominate their field. And for them, cold approach isn't a prerequisite.
Okay, point taken. I mean, we'll agree to disagree.
Okay.
So the point that I made regarding the sugar babies, right? You're in Miami, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, you have a lot of sugar babies there, obviously.
Yeah.
Okay, how many of them, when they're 35, end up with bums or addicts? Because I come to Miami a ton, and I've dated a lot of girls from Miami, and very attractive ones. There's pretty much a constant theme.
Well, I think what happens is they usually like wind up dating like some rich old dudes, but maybe they fuck around with like the addicts. So I think that's typically what happens.
Yes, because they had an easy button, right? They were giving them money so they didn't develop themselves.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so what I'm saying is
also laziness. They're lazy.
Lazy.
There's a lot of very pretty girls who don't take the sugar baby route. Like my girlfriend is pretty, but she's not trying to be a sugar baby. She's like trying to pursue her career. So there's a lot of very pretty women who don't take the easy route, right? And typically that winds up to them having a better life. But some people just want to take the lazy path,
Yeah, and that's my opinion of online. It's the lazy route.
Have you ever had any success with online dating?
Yes, I did online in 2014, and I closed 53 in 1 year off of online.
Okay. And so you didn't.
I got rid of it.
You didn't enjoy that experience?
I mean, it's okay, but I mean, if I can do it from cold approach, why should I do that way when in cold approach I can get a higher caliber of women?
Well, maybe you're getting high caliber women from online dating. That is certainly possible. Or maybe you've already reached the point of self-development that you want to be at. Like, for example, me personally, I don't care anymore about improving my cold approach skills anymore. My cold approach skills are already better than 99% of the general population. I don't care about being in the top 0.01% of pickup artists, right? So for me, it's more about like getting a good return.
What the fuck happened? Yo, the fuck
Swipe
happened?
on Tinder. I don't know. I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I lost you for a second.
So what I'm saying is, like, someone like me, for example, I'm already like the top 99% of people when it comes to cold approach skills. I don't care about being in the top 1% of pickup artists, right? It's completely irrelevant to my overall goals and mental well-being. So for me, going out doing cold approach is just like, I just don't really want to do it because it's like a big drain of my time. Even though I could do it, I'd rather not do it because I don't really care about improving my cold approach skills anymore. But I do sometimes want to get late. Maybe I want to have a threesome or something like that. So for that, for me, Tinder is perfect. It's like a perfect tool for exactly what I need.
Yeah, I mean,
yo, guys,
I do.
Is the video okay? Let me know in the comments if you guys can hear me.
Yeah, I mean, I can hear you fine now. Yeah, the cold approach, like I said, I integrate cold approach into my daily. I work 100 hours a week, so I integrate it into my daily routine. It's habitual for me that if I see someone that piques my interest, I approach.
Okay, that's awesome.
And my issue with the whole, like I said, Tinder, whatever it may be, my issue with that is you don't develop the habits that could allow you to be unbelievable socially.
But why do you care if other people are incredible socially or not? Like, why does it, like, you're focused on yourself. Why do you care whether other people get to that point or not?
I don't know. Maybe I care too much, quite honestly.
So. I don't give a shit whether I care about my audience, but I don't care about what some random person, whether they get good at cold approach or not. It doesn't affect me. I do what I think is best for myself. And I pass on that information to my audience because I'm a content creator. But like, that's about the extent to which my caring ends. Like, I don't really care about whether some random person develops their social skills or not. That's on them if they want to do it.
Well, it has a huge financial benefit for me if someone improves their cold approach because of the business I'm in and the people I deal with. And anyone that I deal with in my business, it's a requirement that if we're going to do business together, you're going to develop that side.
Oh, okay, so you have a financial incentive to care.
Of course.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Well,
I mean, yeah, I have a financial incentive to care.
Yeah. You should have just said that. Yeah, okay, that's the factor.
Oh, okay. I mean, I told you from the beginning, in raising money for different businesses, cold approach. It's very quick. Like, you could take something like the straight line system, correct? And you can integrate that into the whole cold approach. Into the whole cold approach, and very quickly, they're a lot further than conventional people who have been doing the same thing for a long time.
What exactly do you do for work? Everyone in the chat is asking, like, what exactly do you do that you work 100 hours a week? I don't even work 100 hours.
I do real estate development.
Why do you care if people do cold approach in order to sell them real estate?
No, private money. You raise private money, bank free money.
But why do you care if they are good at cold approach before they invest in you?
No, not before they invest in me, before I invest in them.
Oh, so you invest in realtors, or you invest in property?
Yes, I invest in property. Locating distressed assets and raising private money to fund those assets, whether it be development, whether it be just to purchase and then quickly resell, or the wholesale route, which basically is a contract flipping.
Okay. I mean, 99.9% of the general population doesn't even know what cold approach is. So I feel like you're missing out on a lot of potential business opportunities by limiting your investing to only people who know cold approach. But, that's on you if you want to do that.
Well, I don't do business with anyone I can't slap and not get sued. So my circle's pretty small.
Okay. I guess that's an interesting way to run a business.
Well, it works for me.
Okay. I'll take your word for it. Okay. Yeah. What else did you want to debate about?
So let me just see the notes that I had written to you. I know we speak about
Working 100 hours a week to me seems miserable. I work like maybe 30 hours a week. Like for me, I think part of being a good business person is like having like leisure time and like setting up your business on autopilot. But if you like what you're doing, I guess it's fine. But I would be miserable if I had to work 100 hours a week. I need time for sleep, for friends, for family, for my girlfriend, for relaxing, for my dog.
Well, I guess it depends. If you integrate your work and your play, it's not too bad.
I gotcha.
It just depends. When there's work to be done, I just work till I can't work no more and get up in the morning and do it again. So
Okay, yeah, I mean it's on you. I guess.
and well, and that's so another thing that that brings another point. So I know John Anthony says he deals with however many girls at a time, like his harem or whatever. If you're a busy person and you have emotionally self-sufficient girls that you hang out with, it's a lot easier to date multiple girls.
Yeah, if that's what you want. Me personally, I don't want to date multiple girls. I have my girlfriend and then I hook up with other girls here and there, but I don't like the idea of dating multiple girls. That seems like too much stress for me.
Okay, well, that's how I came up with what I do as far as teaching them to be emotionally self-sufficient. That way it doesn't interfere with my business when they're not going to text me about something stupid. So when someone says that they have a harem, and I mean, me knowing John from Philly back then, unless he's changed the type of girls he attracts, I couldn't imagine him dealing with with that many girls without them being emotionally self-sufficient. That's another thing that online is not going to teach you.
Well, I have no idea whether John's girlfriends are self-sufficient or not. I've only ever met one of them, nor is it like any of my business. Yeah, so I can't comment on whether the girls that he's fucking are emotionally self-sufficient or not.
Well, that wasn't the point. The point is, online isn't going to teach you how to deal with people for them to be like emotionally self-sufficient. Like if I meet a girl and I see her as someone that I would like to spend more time with. Okay,
I think you're kind of overthinking this stuff. This cold approach for some is just a means to an end. So if you meet a girl from online and you get into a relationship with her, you're going to learn a lot of things from the course of that relationship. It's not going to be any different if you met her through cold approach. Yes, cold approach does teach you additional skills in the early stages because you have to push your comfort zone. You have to do things that make you uncomfortable. You have to deal with social pressure. So there are additional lessons that you learn by doing cold approach that you don't get from online. But when it comes to the stage where you're having a relationship, there's no difference. It's not like I've had girlfriends from cold approach and I've had girlfriends from online dating, and there's absolutely no difference in those relationships. It's not like, oh, my Tinder girlfriends are so much different than my cold approach girlfriends. It's literally the same shit.
Okay. Point taken. But the question is, if you had a girl and you were going to reduce the burden on you as much as possible by making her emotionally self-sufficient, how would you go about that? And would online teach you that?
Well, I probably wouldn't try to teach a girl how to be emotionally self-sufficient. I would just pick a girl who's already emotionally self-sufficient. I don't really spend my time like trying to train and teach girls to be the kind of partner I want them to be. I just select for the kind of girls who have the partner traits that I want.
Okay, but the question is, how would you go about that? Is that a process that you know?
No, I've never tried to like train my girlfriend or something like that. I think that's a massive waste of time. I just prefer to select girls who already have the traits that I want.
Okay, I understand that, but so you're saying you don't know you don't know that process to make someone emotionally self-sufficient. As a coach, you should know that, or no?
What, like teaching girls? Well, I mainly train
No,
dudes.
I mean teaching anyone. The process is the same.
What exactly do you mean by emotionally self-sufficient?
They don't text me with issues that they can easily resolve themselves and look at me as someone who's an emotional tampon per se.
Yeah. So if I have a male client, I will tell him if that's something he's doing. I'll be like, dude, don't fucking do that. Try to problem solve on your own. Yeah, of course. I don't think there's really that much to it. I would just tell him like not to fucking blow up a girl's phone. If I have a girl who's texting me that, then I probably wouldn't even bother trying to train her because I think that would be a losing battle. I would just probably fucking move on and find a girl who doesn't do that. So if it happens once in a while and the girl's annoying me, I would just tell her, be like, hey, listen, like I'm really busy during the day. So if you have an issue, like I can't really help you. But if she ignores that and keeps trying to use me as an emotional tampon, I wouldn't like try to play like doctor or therapist with her. I would just move on.
Okay. Why wouldn't you just from the beginning ask her to teach her what a reframe is and have her send you a reframe? Because if you're dealing with 10 girls and I mean, it can be a very easy process or it can be a horrible experience. But if they're emotionally self-sufficient, it's not an issue at all.
Because I'm not the girl's therapist, it's not my job to help her with emotional well-being.
Yeah, but you do that and they're anchored to you for a long, long time.
But why would I just not pick the girls who already like have those traits? Why would I need to find a girl who's emotionally fucked up and teach her instead of just finding a girl who's not emotionally fucked up and then have to skip that problem in the first place?
Because like I said, they're anchored to you, and especially if they're much more attractive than the other girls that you're meeting. And
Well,
it's a very quick process for me. I mean, I seen your texts where if a girl doesn't text you in 2 days and you text her again, and if she doesn't text you after another 2 days and you text her again, I would never chase a girl like that. I would never try again and again and again. In the time it takes you to chase these girls multiple leads, I can get very attractive girls, get them emotionally right, get them anchored to me for a long, long time, still run my business, sleep at a different house every night. I mean, I did that for years. I never had a stable home until I was 36. So, you know, I mean, maybe I obviously I know I'm an outlier, very different the way I do live my life.
Okay, dude, and I think it's a lot quicker to just send one double text, which takes like literally 5 seconds, than to literally retrain a girl to not have bad emotional habits. I think what you're doing takes a lot longer than what I'm doing. So in terms of time efficiency, I don't really think you have much of a leg to stand on. Again, if you enjoy training girls how to not have the kind of traits that you want, that's fine. I think that's kind of a losing battle. I don't see the point in that. I would just rather pick girls who don't have that. There's plenty of girls to go around. There's plenty of hot girls who don't have emotional issues. I think that trying to train someone and like literally to change someone is a losing battle unless they actually want to change, and most people don't want to change. So again, I don't see the point of doing that. I'd rather just like find a girl who already has all the criteria I'm looking for.
You're in Miami. I'm in Philadelphia. Have you ever been to Philadelphia?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you think about the quality of girls between Philadelphia and Miami?
Miami has hotter girls. Philly has probably like better girls with better personalities, I guess. I don't know.
But that's what I'm saying. I mean, you're talking about my method, you know, maybe better here, and your method may be better there because you have a lot more to choose from.
Sure, I guess. I mean, your method seems like a little bit of a losing battle to me, but if this is something you enjoy doing, I know for me, that would be like a headache to like try to change like a fucking, you know, if my girlfriend comes to me and is like, hey, Alex, I have this problem. I really want your help. I'll give her some advice, but I'm not going to go out of my way to try to like change someone who doesn't want to be changed.
Yeah. I mean, I won't give her advice. I'll just tell her, you know what a reframe is. Send me the reframe before you send me the problem. I don't want to hear it.
Okay. Well, I mean, you know, you're more than you're entitled to deal with your girls the way you want. I mean, sure, go for it. Okay, cool. Do you have anything else, dude?
I don't know what else we touched on. If I exit out of this screen, I don't think I'll lose you, but give me a second because I just want to look at the text that I had sent you.
Don't worry, dude. I'm not gonna fucking dodge you. I don't dodge anyone. I can't believe people even still like bring it up at that point. You're more than welcome to come on. So after this, we'll probably go for another few minutes, and then I'm gonna address what I wanted to address about the Kevin thing. That'll probably take me 5 to 10 minutes, and then I'm gonna have you on, and I'll have you on even first, and then I'll have everyone else on. Let me turn off my AC because it's getting fucking cold in my apartment. All right. Dude. I mean, do you have anything like quick? Because I do want to wrap up because I got to get through so much shit tonight. But you can come on another time if you think of more shit. This channel is the best entertainment so far for me. I appreciate that. Alex is finally going to take some L tonight. I don't think so. I've taken very few L's in my YouTube career. Alex, what's your dog's body count? He's asexual. Okay, he got disconnected. Okay, well, that kind of resolves that. Okay, that was interesting. Okay, cool. Let me quickly address what I want to address, and then I'm going to open up the panel. Okay, let me just tell him. Yeah, dude, I kind of want to wrap up and move on to the next thing. Do you have any like closing thoughts or anything like super quick you want to say?
Not really. I mean, like I said, the points I made, I think I made. Obviously, you had some extremely valid points, some perspective that I didn't have. I just think that you should definitely try to develop both sides. If you don't want to do that, then that's fine. That's just not my opinion. My opinion is you should be able to cold approach before you even try to go online.
Okay.
So that's
cool,
it.
Cool.
So,
appreciate you coming on, man. Thanks for
coming.
coming
on. For sure. Thank you.
Good night. Bye-bye. All right, cool. All right, let's get to what I wanted to get to. Okay. So, let me give the context because some of you might not know what I'm talking about. So I did a podcast literally 2 days ago. Here, I'm going to share my screen. It was a debate between Kevin Ray Wilder and this one. It was a debate between Kevin Ray Wilder and what's his name? And fucking Ashley, right? And I thought it was a really good debate. There was over 300 live viewers. Everyone in the live chat seemed to love it. Like 99% of the live chat was overwhelmingly positive. It's just the comments that were really negative, which kind of makes me think that a lot of the people who are complaining in the comments or just giving their criticism, there's a little bit of both, didn't actually watch the video and they didn't have a problem with the content of the video. They just had a problem with the fact that I brought Kevin on. So I'm going to share I'm going to go through some of the comments. I'll just address them. But first, let me read I don't usually do prepared statements or something like that because I think that shit is super corny. But I wrote this last night and I thought it was a pretty good statement that kind of addresses how I feel. So let me just read that. I want to make this comment to address some of the criticism complaining in the comments. I think a lot of you, your heart is in the right place. And I do think most of you guys, your heart is in the right place. You're fans of the channel and you legitimately care about the channel. Although there are also a few who seem to feel very entitled as well. And yes, there was definitely people who feel that they're so entitled that they can tell me how to run my channel, which again, there's a big difference between someone giving me constructive criticism, which I'm very open to. Hey, Alex, hey, I'm a big fan of the channel. I like it when you do this. I don't like you to do that. Awesome. Keep that stuff coming. Give me more of that. When people are like, Alex, if you don't stop having this person on, I'm going to unsubscribe. Alex, you cannot have him on again. That's something different. That's just being entitled. So, but yeah, I think most people are coming at it from a good place. So here's what I said. If you don't like Kevin, that's okay. You're entitled to your preferences. On this channel, I like to make a very wide diversity of content. Technical, text, and game vids, right? I dropped one of those today, one before yesterday. Reactions, I do a lot of those. Debates with social justice warriors, red pillars, black pillars, fucking conservatives, everyone in between. I literally will debate anyone. Podcasts with girls, interviews with dating coaches, speed dating, right? And that list goes on. I do a very big diversity of content on this channel. What I don't want this channel to do is to become boring. I don't want it to be a circle jerk. Like one of the big, complaints that people have about Fresh and Fit, it's the same thing over and over and over again. The concept was interesting at first, but it's just like the same thing, dunking on girls. And I think that gets really, really boring. So I don't want this channel to become predictable. I want to have a complete wide variety of contests. The list goes on. One of those things is podcast debates with Kevin. There's no rule that you have to watch every single thing I put out. In fact, I don't expect you to. You guys are all adults capable of picking and choosing the kind of content you find most valuable. There's no shortage of content here, which I deliver to you guys for free with no bullshit sponsors, no sales pitches, no appeals to super chats, no holding back with good stuff. The one thing I forgot to even add in here, and it's not something that like I would normally brag about because I think that's just kind of like, I don't know, kind of like I'm not going to brag about all the things I do for like my subscribers. But one of the things I do is I have all the ads on this channel set to the lowest settings, like for the YouTube ads. This way you guys can get the best possible YouTube viewing experience. I would have all the ads turned off, except that throttles you in the algorithm. And if I turn the ads off completely, my videos will never get views, right? So I have the ads on, but I have them on the lowest settings so you guys can get the best possible viewing experience. If you notice when you watch my videos compared to other people's channels, you probably get less ads. That's not by accident, that's by default. Not a lot of YouTubers do that. Appreciate that and respect my right to run my channel the way I see fit. Furthermore, if you want to prove me wrong, you all know I'm very open to debating anyone, which is what we're going to do tonight. Come on a live stream and we can hash it out. That's going to be much more respectable than just complaining in the comments. And I will truly stand by that. Like, yeah, I will happily have anyone who wants to, you know, have a discussion with me about anything and everything, including my decisions with this channel on, and we can discuss it in extreme detail. So yeah, so that's what I want to say. I want to add a few things to that kind of came to my mind. So I don't have Kevin Ray Wilder on my channel because he's an authority on game, right? There's a lot of people I have on. If I limit myself to people who are just experts at game, there would be like literally 3 guys on my podcast. That would get boring very, very fast. Another issue that you have with the guys who are experts at game is they typically will prioritize getting laid above making content. So it's kind of hard to do collabs with them as well, right? So if you guys want me to just limit myself to guys who are legit experts at game, this channel is going to get very, very boring very fast. You guys are not going to like that. Again, I still put out very technical game videos, right? So you can see like, you know, the video from the day before, right? I spent an hour researching the difference between teasing and negs and examples, right? All that stuff, it doesn't happen on its own. It takes hours of research on my end. I do that personally, right? Because I think I'm the only one in my business who's capable of like really finding the right examples, right? So I do that myself. But I want my channel to be broader than just very technical game videos. And I think you guys want that as well. Let me explain why. If I stick to doing very technical game videos, which was like, you know, what I did in the beginning of this channel, yes, you guys would enjoy those videos. You get value from them, but the channel would have a very, very narrow scope, and this channel would not grow because that stuff turns off the vast majority of the mainstream audience. And if this channel doesn't grow, I can't do the kind of collabs that you guys want me to do. So you guys always ask, oh, Alex, can you get AMS on? Can you get like, you know, How to Beast on? Can you get, you know, all those guys on? Well, what do you think would allow me to get those on if I had more clout? If I had 1 million subscribers, right, all those guys would have been on my channel already, or at least most of them would have been. Every single person that you guys have requested I had on, I've reached out to multiple times. Let's take Sneeko, for example, right? Everyone was excited to see that debate. Why did that debate not happen? Because Sneeko passed up coming on my channel for a different channel, which had more clout. But if I had a lot more clout, that debate would have happened, and that would have been really good entertainment for you guys. So a lot of the stuff that will give you guys value, I can't actually do because I don't have the kind of, let's just say, clout or whatever to make that happen. So I think it's not only going to benefit me, it's going to benefit you guys if this channel grows. I will say this, no matter how much you may dislike Kevin for whatever reason, you have to acknowledge that he's very open to debate anyone, anytime. That is very respectable in my opinion, and something that the vast majority of people on YouTube won't do. I think I'm the only other person who falls into this category. Destiny and Vosh, they're pretty open about debates, but even they won't debate everybody. They'll debate maybe 90%. Me and Kevin will actually debate like 100%. Like I will debate anyone on my channel, right? So that is the big difference, right? That I think you have to just kind of like, at the very least, like give him credit for that. In addition, a lot of the content you guys like, and this is something I haven't said publicly yet, but a lot of the content you guys like was directly inspired by him. Debates, I got that from Kevin. It happened accidentally. I was on his channel and he was like, yo, let's debate someone. I was like, debate? I've never done debate. He's like, oh, it's fun. You love it. I did it. I had a good time. I started doing it. So like the whole debate concept, that wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for him. The whole group podcast thing, right? Where it was like me, Austin, Avery, now it's Erudite, right? That group podcast idea, that came from him. Again, like that wouldn't be happening if he didn't suggest that. On Sunday, we have a Black Pill panel. So we're going to get Turd Flinging Monkey, Weed Waffles, me and Kevin. Again, that was his idea, right? And you guys want me to what? Like, not you guys, but some of you guys want me to what? To kick him out of like the idea that he created. I'm not going to just turn my back on him because part of my base wants me to. That is exactly what Ask Nelly did to me. So what happened was Ask Nelly came on my podcast. She texted me afterwards and called me that she had a good time, you know, that she enjoyed it. She wants to do more collabs. Then her base started saying, oh, why are you talking to this fucking red pill fucking, you know, like incel who hates women? And then she did a complete 180 and said, oh, no, I didn't want to be on that podcast. She turned her back on me, sent her audience against me, and got my Instagram taken down. And I thought that was a really shitty move. I think that is a sign of weak character. And if I did something like that to Kevin because the majority of people wanted, you guys should not respect me. Because someone who's willing to sway what they think is right or wrong because of, you know, what other people say isn't a man who carries himself with respect. And I'm not going to do that, right? I am open to having a discussion about it. If you guys can present logical reasons and change my mind about why I shouldn't have him on, then we can totally have that discussion. And I'm open to changing my mind. But this is not coming from a place of stubbornness. People have this like conspiracy theory that Kevin has some dirt on me. There's no dirt on me on the internet. I live my life in a very open, transparent way. I don't give a fuck. There's nothing anyone could say that would embarrass me or anything like that, right? If that was the case, I wouldn't be having like random people on reacting to random videos, right? That's not the case. It's simply because my mind still hasn't been changed, right? And just a bunch of people saying, you have to stop doing this, we don't want you to do this, it's not going to change my mind. It's just because I think I'm going to do what I think is right. I'm not going to turn my back on people who, I don't know, I have a good relationship with just because of majority rules. But if you want to have a discussion about it, this is a time and place to do it. Let's have a discussion. Like, come on my stream. Let's discuss it face to face. I'm gonna be way more open to listening to you, like if you talk to me directly, rather than if you're like hiding in the comments complaining. So again, I think most of you guys are really cool, and this is coming from a good place. But like, let's have a like actual discussion about like again, like the whole like waiting until the live stream is over, like sending long nasty comments. You're not going to change my mind with that. And if I was the kind of person whose mind would be changed with that, then I wouldn't really expect you guys to respect me. So yeah, so that's kind of my my take on that. Hopefully you guys enjoy my little spiel. Okay, let's open up the panel and we can get into it. So I'm gonna post the link. My one request is I do want to see you guys. Let's keep it more or less on topic. Like, please don't be like, yo, Alex, what do you think of my Tinder profile or something like that? Let's keep it like on topic, more or less. But here it is. Here's the link. Coogs, you were first, so come on. And Black Silver, I'd love to have you on too if there's something more that you want to discuss. If you feel like I didn't adequately cover your video, then come on. Alex, is your speed dating live stream this Saturday? No, it's going to be tomorrow. Speaking of my girlfriend, there she is. When is Scribe coming back again? Next week, we're setting it up. So what do you guys think about that? That is honestly my raw thoughts. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Q2, I see you backstage. I did promise Coogs that he can go on first. You're going to be second. So let's have Coogs on first. Okay, there he is. Yo.
What's up?
What's going on?
Can you hear me all right?
Yeah. What flag is that in the background?
It's a Cougs flag.
Oh, you have like your own flag?
Yeah, of course.
Interesting. Okay, cool.
Yeah, honestly, I was never planning to come on your stream ever. You just got me kind of fired up today in a good way. And then all of a sudden you did a monologue and now I got to get my fire back. So I don't know how we're going to do that.
I always see you in the chat, bro. I mean, I figured you were like a big supporter of the channel.
I am. I actually am. So, I mean, I wanted to kind of give a couple guys context, if I could do it for just not a real monologue, but just a little bit of context. I think some people are kind of like, you know, what's your deal? And they've never seen me. And I've actually been on the channel for 2 years. Now, maybe even 3 years ago, but I used to hide in the background. I never even posted for a year, and I just kind of watched. So it's been the last year that I've been.
You look totally different than I expected. I thought you were like an 18-year-old kid, but you're like a fucking grown-ass man. So
totally,
it's always interesting to see people who you kind of had a mental image of, and then it just turns out to be so different. But yeah, man, go ahead, do your thing.
So you and I both have marketing degrees, and I have over 20 years of corporate sales and marketing experience. So part of my criticism of John Anthony comes from the background that I actually work on marketing people, like large companies that are much larger than him, for a living. And he breaks every rule, like every rule in marketing. So I do partly get fired up for that reason.
What rules do you think he breaks?
So the number one rule I learned literally when I was a 23-year-old kid out of college, because it took me like a year to get a decent job. Rule number one, never bash your competition. And they said it over and over and over again. Instead of bashing your competition, say, hey, you know what? They're a good company, but here's what I do differently. And all of a sudden, 75% of your haters are gone like that. Something Alex used to do and still does. And I give you credit for that.
Wait, I shit on my competition all the time.
Come on, though.
I mean,
shit on the people.
I shit on, okay, I don't shit on people who I'm, for business reasons. I shit on people who I think should be called out. But I don't do it for business reasons. I don't do it because like, oh, this person has business. I actually don't really even think I have any like really like strong competitors. I just call people out who I think should be called out.
Yeah, you shit on Todd V. I mean, who wouldn't, right? Rollo Tomasi. I mean, come on. Yeah. That guy won't even respond to a comment of mine, so I will never go back on that channel. I wasn't being that negative either. And in fact,
he completely banned me from commenting on his shit.
Actually, I did get his attention a couple times. So it's funny because I'm like probably way too big of a supporter of Playing with Fire. And I remember you telling me something because it used to be an echo chamber. I remember you told me, be careful on one of my comments like a long time ago. You know, it's fun to basically give someone compliments nonstop, but it's going to become an echo chamber. And I totally agree with that. And so you've helped change that, Alex. And that's why I'm here tonight. You've actually helped change that. And I wanted to point out a couple things. Okay. And, you know, because we wanted to debate a little bit. So to give you some background, you know, my experience with yours is similar. I didn't even get a date in high school. Now I'm on camera. Everybody knows it. And it took a long time. And honestly, I didn't seek, you know, people. Back then it was Mystery, right? It was a bunch of old OGs. I didn't seek them. And what's that guy? That little shit. Mystery's little. Oh, yeah. Tyler Durden. That guy's. So I did buy the book, the game, right? But I did do game before doing that. And I didn't do my first cold approach till I was 19 years old. And I still remember it to this day. I was like shaking. And it was a rejection, but it was kind of exhilarating. And literally it only took 4 approaches and I got in the car with 4 hot chicks and we went, because it was a little cruising event. And I was thinking, wait a minute, 1 for 4, that's pretty good. I couldn't even get a date before. And so I kept doing it. I remember today you had this video with that guy. This afternoon, you released a video with a guy. And I'm like, oh my God, that's like me years ago. That's exactly how I would cold approach once I got confidence. And I'd make mistakes all the time. And I know you would have pointed out the same mistakes. But there was lots of volume. And the results were there because there was volume and massive charisma, which people don't believe in, which I do talk to the Black Pill community about because I do think it's true. I had no charisma and I couldn't get a date. I couldn't get anything, you know, before I developed that a little bit. And so that guy you brought up on your video, you pointed out flaws that I would make this day because before the pandemic, I'm calling myself semi-retired. Most of the guys I work with are younger than me. Yet it's always, let's go out after work. Dave, we got to go hit on chicks. We got to go hit on chicks. And, you know, Coogs, we got to go hit on chicks. Sorry, Dave, Coogs. That's my real name. Anyways, so literally the pandemic hit and it was brutal. I wanted to retire, but luckily I found your channel. So I got to give you props on that. I'm thinking, why retire? I never got married. I'm not going to have kids. So why would I retire? That was the stupidest thing ever.
Nice, man. So I'm glad my channel helped.
Well, it did. And so literally I went months without even, I was thinking, okay, is this guy perfect? I know that sounds stupid, but I was literally thinking, what is the guy's deal? Because every time somebody would hate on you, you'd be like, let's debate. And that's literally like my style in real life. I debate people nonstop in the office or wherever I go. And it usually solves most of the problems, but most people won't do it. and then they start talking shit behind your back.
Mhm.
And
Yep.
so I figured, yeah, I got a little lippy, but for good reason. I want to get into it.
Okay.
So let me give you an example. Today's video was awesome, and it actually is going to give me some memories that I want to go back on. So let's go back 9, 12 months ago when you used to say, and I remember asking you specifically in the chat, okay, you critique, and you're pretty hard on some of these people when they cold approach, and you'll point out flaws, and that's fine because they can learn from it. Some people can't handle constructive criticism. But I said, do you do that for everybody? And your comment was, I do it to my friends. We go out in Miami. This is when you were cold approaching. And hell yeah, I won't tell them they did great if they fucked up. Right? Is that correct?
Yeah. I mean, I don't give people unsolicited feedback, but if one of my friends was like, hey, how did I do? I will give them like brutal feedback. Most of my friends usually do ask my feedback, but I have friends who like don't give a shit. I don't like, I'm not sitting there, oh dude, that was a bad approach. Like, dude, I didn't ask you. But yeah, if they ask me, for sure, I'll give them honest feedback. Right.
And so I remember seeing, so I have more history than most people realize. I've known who John Anthony is for at least 9 years. And so
oh wow.
I don't want to say too much, but I may have ran into him a long time ago, and I might get into that another time in Vegas. So, and it wasn't that bad of an interaction, but I do have more experience than you guys realize with his game, and he wasn't that good back then. And so the good news is, like you, I give people chances, and I listen to what you said on the show, because honestly, I thought his game was average. And when I'm hearing he's like one of the top pickup guys in the world, and me and my boys can do what he does in our sleep, and like I'm trying to say that I've seen, because he used to post all his cold approach videos, and they were up, and I'm not saying they were all that bad. I mean, a lot of times, I'm making jokes, but for you, when you did that video and you put him in your top 5, I went ape shit. I was like, the other 4 guys you showed videos to were phenomenal pickups, and I don't think I've done one as good as Julius. That was a really good one. I mean, straight up. And then you made an excuse like, oh, John has poor audio, but he had to private his videos. Yeah, 5 years ago, what was the Bradicus thing in like 2018? So where's the proof? If you're gonna put him in the top 5, you got to show more evidence. That's my critique debate.
Yeah. Okay. So let me address that. So John is kind of unique on that list in the fact that I've gone out with him extensively. You sounds like you hung out with him a while ago. I don't know if he was different back then. I hung out with him for the first time in 2017. 2017. And then again in 2020, we've gone out. We traveled to Colombia together in 2017, went out in LA. So I actually got to watch him cold approach for many nights in a row, like firsthand, like with my own eyes. I wasn't videotaping, but I saw it. And I can truly say that I saw some pretty fucking crazy shit. Like I would put his cold approach game above mine. Like that, when we were in LA, the first night, we went out to a bar. Okay, he got some phone numbers there, nothing special. But then we went to a strip club, and he pulled one of the strippers back to my place, right? I literally heard, he didn't fuck her. He got a blowjob from her, but I literally heard like everything, like, because my place was pretty small, sleeping in another room. Then the second night, he pulled multiple chicks to my place. So like, I saw that shit firsthand. When we were in Colombia, I saw him, like we went to, granted we were mainly doing Tinder, but one night we went to a club. I saw him approaching girls. I saw him actually hook up one of the other guys that was with us. He kind of winked him really well. So I saw a lot of shit with my own eyes. So that's kind of why I put him at the top of the list. Now, of course, there's different metrics, right? You could say that, for example, Julian is probably, I don't know, funnier than John maybe, or more, maybe potentially even more charismatic, right? At least based on the infield. But again, that's only one metric. John is, I guess, I'll think a lot more systematic, which makes up for that. I think there's some suboptimal things that Julian used to do when he was still in the game. He's not anymore. So yeah, like, it's just like what metric are we using? The metric I typically use is results, right? So that's the quality and the quantity of girls you hook up with. And also like, like infield and stuff like that, and things I can actually see and like, like verify, rather than things that like people say like, oh, I pulled this chick. That doesn't mean anything to me. Either I see it with my eyes or I see a video of you pulling the chick. So that's kind of why he was on that list. And I'll double down on that. I fully think he deserves to be on that list. I think I have no shame saying that his cold approach is better than mine. And I feel that way about every single person on that list. I think Austin has better cold approach than me. I think Vadim has better cold approach than me. Yeah, for sure.
I don't. I actually think you have better cold approach than John. I've seen 20 of his, because I've seen him back in the day before he pulled them, and I've seen a bunch of them. I've seen, like, they get leaked all the time online. So I literally think your cold approach is better than John's. I know he's going to get really pissed that I'm saying this, but that's honest feedback from what I've seen. Now, I do want to stress something you did say, though. I want you to confirm this. And a lot of people, I think, in the chat will remember this when you said this. You said, because people were calling you out on specifics when he pulled when you guys were together. And I remember you saying, not verbatim, but very close, that, well, I actually was with another chick. So I wasn't with him when he was doing the cold approach, but I saw him come back, go in and bang him. And I have no doubt he did that.
There was multiple nights. Yeah, that's probably the confusion. It wasn't like one night. He was at my place for like 4 or 5 nights. So the first night from the strip club, I was actually there. I saw that. One night, yes, there was one night where I actually wasn't there. I was with a chick. So I didn't see him approach, but there was other nights where I did see him approach. That's probably the source of the confusion.
Right. Yeah, no, and my whole thing, and just to clarify, John was not sober. I was not sober. So he's not going to remember me, but I knew who he was because I found out later. So the day I met him, we actually were hitting on similar girls, right? So it was a run-in Vegas, but I've been to Vegas like 275 times. I'm proud of it, but I'm not.
I've seen him game sober and I've seen him game drunk. And well, if he's like, like drinking a little bit, his game is totally fine. Maybe even like potentially better because he's very loose and funny. But when he used to like have a drinking problem and he would get wasted, yeah, like it wasn't that good. It's just because he was blackout drunk. He didn't know what he was doing. One thing I respect about him is that he completely quit alcohol and he has been sober for like the last 3 years. So I do think he's a lot more coherent and organized. And you might have a totally different opinion if you watched him game sober than watching him game drunk. But I can totally see if he was drunk when you met him, how you would be like, yo, this is nothing special. This is just a guy being sloppy.
And all I want from my end, it's just people, are always asking me about him, right? And I wouldn't even come after him like this if he wasn't bashing every single competitor. I'm in marketing. He's doing that, and that's fine. If you do that, you better be Michael Jordan. But guess what? LeBron James, Michael Jordan, they don't go around trashing other guys. And he's had 1,600 lays. So if you had 1,600 lays, why the hell would you do that? Have you ever seen Tom Brady go around going, oh, that Patrick Mahomes is a piece of shit. He really sucks.
Yeah,
Would you guys really like him after that?
Yeah, I can answer that. Let me actually also answer this question. Completely quit alcohol and his girl bought him shots and stream was drinking. Okay, he drinks non-alcoholic beer. He's a hardcore alcoholic. If he starts drinking, he can't stop. I don't know if like you guys have ever known any like hardcore alcoholics, but it's not like you can have a little bit and you can stop. If he starts, he cannot stop. I know other people like that. And if he had one shot on stream, that would be it. He would be like on a bender for weeks. So he's completely quit alcohol cold turkey. And if he was lying, you would know it because he would literally be on a bender. So it doesn't work like it does for normal guys where like I can have a few drinks and then I can stop and then I can drink again. It doesn't work like that when you're a hardcore alcoholic. Okay, so what you were saying about him.
First of all, chat, he already hates me, okay? It's not like he doesn't know anything new. He banned me for asking, hey, are you going to debate Kevin Ray Wilder? I never said anything negative. So, yeah, he got me heated because I was asking an honest question back in the day. This is like 3 months ago. All right, continue, Alex.
So your question was, would you respect someone who bashes a lot of people, or did I miss something?
Would I respect someone who bashes a lot of people?
Sorry, you asked me a question. I kind of addressed the comment. I sort of.
Oh, no, okay, right. Okay, let's take Tom Brady. I don't know who. Let's just take an athlete that's people respect. Tom Brady or whoever. Would it kind of be weird, or would you change your opinion if all of a sudden he went on TV and started just bashing everybody out of nowhere?
So let me explain to you the way John sees it. And I see it a little differently than him, but I'll explain to you what his logic is because I've had this discussion with him multiple times. This is how he sees the world. He sees that in the pickup community, or in the seduction community, it's 98% grifters. And these people are stealing, lying, and robbing all these vulnerable young men. And he's doing it in his mind. He's doing it from a place of actually protecting the audience from being scammed. Now, I personally see things a little differently. I think some of the people he's criticized, I completely disagree with. I think they are actually legit. So it's like he thinks it's 99% frauds. I think it's like 90% frauds. I'm a little bit more generous. I think some of the people he thinks are frauds are not actually frauds, but I still think a majority of the people in this industry are frauds. I personally don't really give a shit that much. I think he gives a shit a lot more than I do. To me, it's just like, if I think it's good content, I'll call this person out, but I don't really care about like protecting, like, I don't know, like the pickup community. Like, if people want to come to me and ask me questions, I'll answer them honestly, but I just don't care enough to go out of my way to like call out every person I think is a fraud, because then literally like 80% of my content would just be calling out frauds because there's so many frauds. So that's just kind of like, typically when I do like call out videos, it's because multiple people have repeatedly asked me about that point. It's like, what do you think of Todd? What do you think of Todd? I'm like, okay, instead of answering this question 100 times, I'll just make a video about it. So we kind of see things a little differently, but that's his motivation.
Right. Okay. I'm just saying, if you didn't make the top 5 video, I wouldn't have as strong of a debate. Literally, that video right there, in my opinion, if you're going to make top 5, you got to do more than say, well, I was out with them hanging out and picking up. Guess what? I was out with Doug Fist last week and he picked up 20 chicks. Okay, no, I wasn't out with Doug Fist, but you see what I'm saying? You got to show more proof if you're going to put someone in the top 5.
Yeah, I mean, I can show more proof. I mean, I think he has the vast majority of his infield he has in his product. I've actually gone through that. He's given me like free access. So I have seen that infield. You know, I'm not going to take something that he has password protected and like put it for free on YouTube. I have privately told him that I think he should take more of the infield that he has behind the paywall and put it out there. And he actually agrees with me. And he said that he's planning on doing that. I don't know when he's going to do it. It's honestly none of my business. It's his brand. But yeah, I do think he should put more shit out on YouTube for free. But I have seen, that doesn't mean the infield doesn't exist. I have seen it in his first product. I think it's called the Occam's Razor. There's like 100 pieces of infield there. I went through maybe 40 or 50 of them, like literally for my own learning, right? Because I actually want to see what I could pick up from him. And there's definitely things, little things I picked up from him for sure. So yeah, like he has a lot of infield. I personally met some of the chicks that he's banging. I mean, like, what else can I show? Like, besides like sex videos?
Right. And once again, I'm kind of like compartmentalizing his skills to where he brags the most, and that's cold approach. That's where his bread and butter is. Now, if we isolate secret arrangements, and honestly, you're right, Alex, I did do secret arrangement a long time ago and didn't pay a dime, and they're very thirsty. It's weird. It's something guys will not believe, but it's like 10 times easier than Tinder, but they are messed up. And I do like quality women. So that's something that it's not for me.
Yeah, that's something you and I have in common.
Yeah. And so my whole argument is, if John was to do a contest, he's got so many secret, he's an expert on that, right? And he's got seeking arrangement game. I'll give him that. But if we were going to talk about what he says that he's the best at, top 5 in the world, that was your video. It wasn't how good he is at Tinder, seeking arrangements. It was cold approach. That guy you had on the video earlier, that kid that was doing really well, but he had raw skills. If you had to bet your channel on that kid or John without any like phone to system and hook up on Tinder, if they had no devices, no phones, and those two went at it in Miami, would you bet on that kid?
I would bet on John 100%. Yeah, for sure. That kid has some good natural talent, but he doesn't understand formal game. And like the things I pointed out in that video are going to work against him. I think that kid would do well. I think a more interesting question, who I would bet, me or that kid. I would still probably bet on myself, but that would be a tougher bet. Indian P or that kid, that's a really tough one right there. But yeah, I would definitely bet on John. Just nothing tops understanding and knowing formal game, having experience. What you mentioned is that he's banged chicks from seeking. Sure, yeah, he has, and that's
right.
why. But he's banged like hundreds and hundreds of girls from cold approach. Like, how many does he have to bang from cold approach before it's like sufficient evidence? 500, 600, 800? Like, at what point can we be like, okay, he's banged enough girls from cold approach?
And that's a tough one for me because I'm quality over quantity. I will argue that every day of the week. Yeah, sure. But that's a whole nother debate. So my whole thing is, I was the one that told you, and you laughed, a comment a year ago, and I think the chat will like this. I said they need to reassess their point system. They need to say, like, if a chick is a 10, then you need to get like 20 points versus 1. If they're 9, you get 10 or 15. You actually like that idea.
Yeah.
So
sure. Yeah. I mean, like one system that my buddy told me about, who I learned a lot from, my natural friend that I had in college always reference, is that there's only one system that matters, the binary system. It's like 1 or 0. 1 would bang, 0 would not bang. But yeah, of course, yeah, I agree with you that it's like, for me personally, I'd rather bang 110 than like 3 5s. Sure, yeah. But it's not like John is just banging ugly chicks. I've seen him bang some like really hot girls. Again, I haven't been.
I challenge you. I'd rather bang 110 than 25 4s.
Yeah, sure. I'm probably the same way.
So I mean but I'm saying that's what the pickup community doesn't talk about. All they talk about is lay count, and if we really looked at what's in lay count, it's I don't even want to go there. That's why it's just like this whole game is messed up.
I never talk about lay count. I don't give a fuck about people's lay counts. I ask that question only when I think it could help me in a debate, but I don't really give a shit. I don't even count. I stopped.
I give you credit for that. That's why I stayed on your channel and watched, because you actually didn't talk about it. Or I mean, it came up a little bit, but you literally didn't talk about it every 5 minutes, and I was surprised. Like, I was drawn to your channel for a bunch of reasons. I think like Ashley, I couldn't stand you at first, but there were certain things you did that were really unique. I mean, really unique. And I think you should have more subscribers. You know, I think you should be up there with Fresh and Fit, just because there's so many things you do that's more unique than them. They act like they're the only people that sit around in a room and chat with people. I mean, come on, that's been done for 20 years now on regular TV. So I don't think that's anything new. But I want to go back to what I said. What about like A.G. Hayden? What about A.G. Hayden? Would you bet on him or John Anthony in a cold approach contest? Like, if you're being honest, that's what people are worried about.
Okay, so that is a tough one, because AG is good. I think AG is better than me. I've gone out with him personally. So I would, if I had to bet on me or AG, I would bet on AG. I would still bet on John. I think AG in a few years could be as good as him. I just think that Avery is very young still. He's only been in the game for a few years. He's advanced, don't get me wrong. But there's still little things that he's going to learn in the next few years. And John has one big advantage, in that he's a lot older. He has a lot more experience in the game. So it wouldn't even really be a fair competition. But between those two and what's his name, and John, I would bet on John. A much more interesting question would be, who would I bet on, Marcus Wolf or John? Marcus Wolf, I really don't like as a person. So someone said, Alex's top 5 is just people he's friends with and his business partners. Okay, I put Ultimate Man Project, Marcus Wolf, on there. I fucking can't stand that guy. We don't get along at all, right? We have bad personal history. I still put him on that list because I think he deserves to be there. So that's a very interesting question. Yeah. Who would I bet on, Marcus Wolf or John? That would be a really tough one. I really wouldn't know how to answer that. That would be like a toss-up, because I think Marcus is really, really fucking good, despite the fact that I really don't like him.
Yeah, and I'd be somebody who's in good faith if he ever provided evidence, but it would take more than just pictures. Like, Alex, I know you've been in this a long time. Like, we're OGs. You know what guys do. They go up and take, like, this is when camera phones first came out. Guys were going up to take as many pictures as they could to pretend they were getting hookups. Like, there's tricks you can do. I'm not saying that's what he did. I'm just saying that that's not legitimate proof for most people that understand the industry.
Well, I guess like my question would be, what kind of proof would you like to see?
I mean, for starters, it'd be nice to see one infield without music and without jump cuts and weird audio, just a regular standard cold approach from start to beginning, where I'm not saying you had to show him going to the bedroom, but he's polling, right? But from start, where he's just walking up to somebody and has good audio. Because you've even commented on his audio before, Alex.
Yeah. But I can relate to that, because filming infield is a massive fucking headache that anyone who hasn't filmed infield probably doesn't get. But technical issues happen all the time. I've lost some of my best infield ever, like the infield I was so excited to put on YouTube because something crapped out. So I can't hold that against him. I will say this, in his product, Oscam's Razor, he has exactly what you're describing. He has about 50 of them from start to finish, with no music, no nonsense, nothing like that. I don't know if he'll give you a free copy, but I've personally seen it,
right?
And I can tell you it's there.
Yeah, no, for sure.
So so what I'm saying is the stuff you're describing already exists. The only problem is it's behind a paywall. And I do agree with you that John should take some of that and put it for free on YouTube. And he kind of agrees with me too. So I don't know when he's going to do that, but yeah.
But why is he assuming? Okay, another thing in marketing is if you're the best at something, like look at Michael Jordan. Can you imagine if what's that little guy on the bench of the Denver Nuggets? It's like 5'7". Could you imagine if all of a sudden he said, LeBron James, he said, "Hey, LeBron is shit. He's the worst basketball player." And can you imagine if LeBron came out the next day and said, "I'm suing that little shit. I'm suing him for everything he has. How dare he talks about me?" You're going to start to think maybe there's something wrong with his game. Why would he care?
I don't think those two things are related. To be fair, John has only ever sued two people. He's suing Coach Ryan and he's suing Modern Life Dating. I can give you his argument. I'm not saying I agree with it, but this is his argument. Those people slandered me. They did say shit that isn't true. Those people talked shit about me. They slandered me. And I have the resources to be able to pursue legal action. I'm not going to fly to their cities and beat them up, right? So I'm not going to do that. So my only other option, I have three options. One is I can go over there and beat them up. He's not going to do that. I can ignore them, which is probably what I would do personally. I would just make a response video, or I can sue them. He has taken the third option. I would personally take the second option. We're just different in that sense. I have never sued anyone. Although in some situations, I do think that lawsuits are warranted. Like Andrew Tate is going to sue H3H3, and I think I'm fully in favor of that. H3H3 has totally slandered Andrew Tate. It is highly irresponsible. You're not allowed to make – see, the reason John is suing isn't because he said, "Oh, I think his game sucks." It's when he makes statements of fact. So if I'm like, Coogs Johnson last night was getting his dick sucked by a dude. Right. And you're like, dude, like that never happened. And I keep saying that I'm defaming your character. And if that starts affecting your business, like that's not really cool. So again, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not going to comment on the case. A lot of the stuff I'm not even privy to. I haven't like gone through like the legal documents. I don't actually really give a shit that much. So yeah, I think sometimes the lawsuit is warranted. Sometimes it's kind of overkill. My style personally is I just make response videos. I don't really give a shit about like lawsuits. It's just too much of a headache for me. But like everyone has their own different way of dealing with, I don't know, people talking shit. Mine is different than his. Right.
But you got to understand, like suing someone, I mean, that's just, it's going to bring negative attention to your it just doesn't even make sense. Look, Alex, I'm in sales. You got a marketing degree. You probably hung around salespeople. Do you know how many times people have asked me how many cocks I sucked last night? Come on. It happens all the time. If you actually react to that, people are actually going to think there's truth to that. I don't give a shit. The chat's talking hella shit about me. Good for you guys.
No, I see your argument. Yeah, sometimes like if you sue someone, it makes it seem like, like maybe you have something to hide. I see your argument. Lawsuits affect public perception. I mean, again, I think like some situations, like I think Johnny Depp did the right thing by suing Amber Heard, right? That was a good trial. Like I'm happy he did that because Amber Heard should not have gone and said that he abused her when the evidence is clear that he did not. So we can't just say like lawsuits in general are bad for defamation, right? Like sometimes defamation is warranted. I'm not going to say whether I think in John's situation is or is not warranted. I don't have enough facts about the case. I haven't gone through legal documents. Again, I can't really comment on that too much. Again, I can just say that personally, I generally err on the side of not suing people because I just have I don't know, like I just have a different way of dealing with adversity and drama than he does. That's like the best way of putting it.
Yeah. Yeah. So, by the way, Alex, did I ever say I was a dating coach? I'm just curious.
No, you're not a dating coach.
So I can't post infields, guys. But guess what? If somebody wants to literally call me out, let's go to Vegas. I'll challenge anybody anytime if you guys are dead serious and you show me a plane ticket.
Fair
because
enough.
You know what? I shouldn't be able to pull. I'm older than most of you guys. But guess what? It's all about confidence.
It's definitely a huge part of it.
Yeah, it's about confidence though and skills like you learn over time. You know what I mean? I mean, there's a lot of things that you learn by mistakes too. A lot of things too is I make a fool out of myself all the time. I mean, no doubt about it. I mean, but who cares? You get rejected. The girl forgets about you in 30 seconds. I mean, Andrew Tate said that literally, and I agree with that. If you get rejected, she'll forget about you in 30 seconds.
Yeah, for sure, man. But yeah, is there anything else you want to kind of bring up?
No. No, I mean, not for now, because I know you're kind of tired right now, and I don't want to take up too much of your
No,
guys'
no, I'm
time.
not tired. I do want to make sure I get through all the people who are backstage.
Yeah, no,
I
yeah.
don't want to cut you off. So
No, thanks for having me on, and maybe some
Thanks
other
for coming
time.
on. I appreciate your support.
Okay, thanks, Alex.
All right, take care, buddy.
Bye.
Bye-bye. All right, cool. That was a good discussion. Let's bring on the next person. Q2, what's up?
What's
My
good?
favorite word.
Yep. What's happening?
Just chilling, bro. What's going on?
All right. So I want to get this off my chest because it seemed like it's a fair criticism, but it seemed like you were dodging in the comments. I'm talking about the in studio podcast.
Yeah,
with
I know.
three
I know
girls.
exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
All right. As long as chat knows, then and you know we're fine then. So yeah.
Okay. Let me explain for the chat. The one he's talking about was when I had that like really weird sugar baby chick who flipped out on me and who was like ranting and raving. The one that I said was like crying before the podcast began. It was like the in studio podcast with three girls, and a lot of people felt like I was letting her get away with a lot of disrespect. I made my response video to that where I explained my thought process. But yeah, go ahead.
All right. So we gotta start from the beginning.
Okay.
You said this girl was on your couch crying and saying she was suicidal. What made you want to film her after that in that same day?
Because this was literally 5 minutes before the podcast was going to start. So she came on. We were supposed to start. We're actually already starting late. She was like, hey, before we start, can we talk? I'm like, okay, sure. She kind of opened up. She started crying. I just listened to her. I just nodded. And she's like, okay, I feel better. Thanks for listening to me. I'm like, okay, cool. Are we good to start? She's like, yep. And then I started.
Cool. So the biggest thing I heard besides the word suicide is emotional distress. She was kind of emotional. She was kind of not in a good space. And
yeah.
To film her when she's not in a good space, even if she says she's fine or whatever, to film when she's not in a good space, to me, shows that you care more about the content more than you care about the actual person that's there and how they're presenting themselves.
Oh, I definitely care more about the content. She's largely irrelevant to me, and because she acted like such a cunt to me, like I don't give a shit about her at all. I mean, I'm not going to like hurt her in any way or do anything malicious, but I certainly don't care about her. I don't owe her any loyalty. I have much more loyalty to my channel and to my base. So you're 100% right that I care more about my content, and that's the way it should be. But my other option in that situation would have been just to tell her, hey guys, go home. Hey, go home. She would have been pissed off because she came all this way there. She got ready. She spent an hour doing her makeup. So she would have been pissed. The audience would have been pissed. Like no one would have won. So I think that would have been a much worse option.
Okay. All right. And then during the podcast, let's just pretend that stuff didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
You still got disrespected inside of your own house. I don't know if she made like really bad anti-Semitic jokes, but the comments that they did she said something like that.
I didn't say anything about that. Nor do I give a fuck about that. First of all, you can't even tell that I'm Jewish. I'm only half Jewish. Second of all, I don't take any of that shit seriously. Me and my girlfriend all the time make like racist jokes. Not against black people. Let me clarify that. She jokes about me being half Jewish. I joke about her being Latina. So yeah, I don't give a fuck about that kind of stuff. But
okay. It was what was she's being rude, disrespectful?
She's just being rude and disrespectful. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, for that, what made you continue to allow that behavior or not redirect that behavior? Say, look, if we can't have this level of disrespect.
Because I don't give a shit. She doesn't I don't see her as my equal. She's a very emotionally vulnerable sugar baby. I don't see her on my level at all. It's kind of like when I'm walking down the street and the homeless guy's yelling, "Fuck you, you dumb motherfucker."
I've heard this.
I'm not going to engage with him or argue with him. Again, I don't think of him as on my level, as bad as it sounds. It's true. That's how most people feel. So yeah, it doesn't affect me at all. I think it makes better content when she's just wilding out, making a fool of herself. Sure, I could grandstand and I could be like, hey, listen, like say that again and you're done. What would happen? She would just flip out, storm off. and then she would take her girlfriends with her because they all came with her, and the podcast would be over. So the fun ends for everybody if I do that. I don't see the point of like grandstanding like that. I'd rather just let the content continue. Everyone can have a good laugh at her acting like a fool.
All right, cool. All right, so this is based on the videos I saw. This is how I thought you're gonna respond. So I can say this with full confidence. You put your content over your self-respect in that situation, and you took advantage of somebody in a vulnerable situation just for content. And I can't say that you shouldn't. I wanted to say that it's a slippery slope. It's like I would compare you to like a bum fights guy, the guy that recorded people, fighting on the street and shit like that. You can do that, and I don't really care that much. But what I wanted more was just to admit that it is. You could see how it's wrong, and you could see that like for example, like Dr. Phil or bum fight.
I don't think it's wrong at all. I don't think I'm her dad. I'm not her guardian. I'm not her guidance counselor. I don't see
myself. You have a position of power. You admitted that. You just admitted that you have a position of power over her.
How? How do I have a position? of power?
You're the one with the content. She needs to come to you. And you said, you remember, you said she was like a little child. So you have the position of power over her.
I'm saying I don't think of her as on my level as a person. I don't think I have a position of power over her. She probably makes way more money blowing old dudes than I make from doing whatever the fuck I do. I don't really think she needs me. Plus, also, I had to, let's just say, be way more persistent to get her on my channel. It's not like she was begging to come on my channel. It was more of like, I wasn't begging her, but I was like, hey, when are we going to do the podcast? Hey, come on. Hey, like, are you free this night? So yeah, I don't think she needed my podcast at all. I don't think like she's not really an influencer. She doesn't need like my 100,000 subs for cloud. That's the first thing. And second of all, I'm not her guidance counselor. She made her own decision as an adult to come on my podcast. It is not my fault that she's emotionally unstable. I am not going to.
Never said that.
I'm not going to try to make the decision for her about what's best for her interest. Again, I'm not her financial advisor. I'm not her manager. She can make her own decisions as an adult. If she wants to, as an adult, consent to being on my podcast, that's all I need. I'm not gonna like fucking.
All you need is consent now. So So I would just. Why haven't you had a drunk girl on your like a really blackout drunk girl on your podcast? If all you need is consent.
Well, I've had chicks get drunk on my. I had one chick that was wasted on my podcast.
You've had now you're feeling drunk people acting out, and main thing you're saying this is women or these women exist or this is how you deal with women and stuff like that. This is how you deal with women, and you picking not the best of the best.
Well, hang on, that's not true. I generally do try to pick the best of the best. I don't encourage drinking. Yeah. I don't like.
Why not? If you get consent, why? What's wrong with drinking?
Because there's nothing wrong with it, but they're adults. They can make their own decision. There was one chick, most people know who it is. It's a Sarah chick. The chick that was hitting on me during the podcast. She got quite drunk during the podcast, right? That was her decision as an adult. Now, I did the responsible thing, and later that night, I did not fuck her, right? Because that to me would be an ethical line.
Why? But what's wrong with fucking drunk girls?
What's wrong with fucking a drunk girl? Because it's
illegal. What's wrong with that? They consented.
It's illegal though.
No, I mean if she consented and if she consented, it's not illegal.
You can't give consent for sex when you're drunk, but there's no rule against. Why? I don't know. That's just the way the law is.
No, okay. No, but like if you say yes, I want to have sex, and she's drunk, and then later that night or tomorrow she says we had drunk sex and that was fun, that was cool, then what's the issue?
Oh yeah, you're right. It wasn't Sarah. It was another chick. I forgot her name.
Okay.
Yeah, it was the other chick. Dude, I don't have sex with drunk girls, so I think it's a moot point. I'm not trying to fuck a drunk girl. I've never fucked drunk chicks.
Me neither. But that's because I have ethics about it. I don't, because remember, a lot of men get drunk with girls and have sex drunk and all that stuff. I don't do that because that's against my ethics. It's nothing illegal about having sex with people when they're drunk, especially if you're drunk as well. Like sometimes you just stumble back drunk to your own place and do that.
Yeah, that's you should know that. You cannot legally have sex with drunk girls. That can be a potential rape charge. Yeah, that is not a good idea.
Potential, but like if they consented, there's always these downsides and all that stuff. I agree with that. I agree there's always downsides. That's why I don't like having drunk girls even in my house like that. Like if it's like I can notice that you're drunk, it's kind of like I'm not really gonna touch you, and you got to go on like 5-10 minutes, maybe 30 if like I really got to convince you to leave. But I don't even like having just drunk girls. I don't like the idea of a girl coming through my place drunk and then not knowing what happened and then just being there for a long period of time. That's a recipe for disaster
Okay,
to me.
it's very simple. It is potentially illegal to have sex with a drunk girl. Whether it's 100% illegal or 50% illegal is irrelevant. It is potentially a legal issue, which I'm not going to do because I don't do legal things. However, it is not illegal to have a drunk girl on your podcast. That's
Okay, no, I agree with that, but you're taking it. What I'm saying is you're still taking advantage in a way, taking advantage of their state, a different state.
How? If she's the one that got drunk on her own without any me adding to it, me encouraging it, how's that me taking advantage? That's her decision to get drunk.
So you're saying you can't tell when somebody's drunk? That's what you're saying now.
No, I never said that. Of course I can tell.
So if you could tell they're drunk and you still continue to film because it's you're in control of the cameras, you're in control of yourself. So you could say, hey, the same way you could say, I'm not gonna put my dick in you. I can't like. It's not like you have.
I don't think you understand the situation. So what happened with the chick? It wasn't like she was blackout wasted when she showed up to my house. She was relatively fine when she showed up. She was getting drunk during the podcast. She had her own alcohol that she brought with her, and she was drinking on it. No, I could have just, I guess, like
bet it up.
I could have ended the podcast and said, okay, this podcast is over because you're getting too drunk. I'm not going to do that. I'm not like some fucking Karen that needs to like micromanage. She wants to get drunk on a podcast. She's an adult. She's over the age of 21. She can get drunk on the podcast. That is her prerogative. It is not mine. Now, where it would get ethically dubious is if I was trying to get her wasted so I could get better reactions. I wasn't trying to do that. In fact, I prefer when girls stay sober because.
What the fuck? Hold up, I'm frozen.
If she stays sober. It would have been in my best interest if she stayed sober. Right? I didn't encourage her drinking, but she chose to do it on her own. That is her own decision. Hello?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm back. I was frozen.
Did you hear what I said?
You said basically, you said it's not within your best interest to have the drunk girl, or she got drunk during the podcast, and you said it's not in your best interest to have drunk girl.
I prefer for girls not to get drunk on the podcast. One, I think that they get sloppy. Two, I can potentially fuck them if they're sober. So it's my best interest they stay sober. However, I can't fucking like inflict my will on everybody. Sometimes the girls do what they want to do, regardless of how I feel about it. That is their prerogative. I'm not going to cut my podcast early because this bimbo chose to get drunk on her own.
That sounds like not what a leader would do, or that doesn't sound like anything a responsible person would do. Like, I understand, like if you guys were like hanging out and somebody decides to get drunk, you would be a Karen if you said, you gotta stop drinking. But if you're talking about you're the one filming and they need you for the content, I'm talking about strictly for the content. They came to you for something, and it'd be like,
none of these girls need me, man. Like I'm not that.
No. In that moment for the podcast, they need to be on that podcast, or they feel they need to be on that podcast because none of them really do in the grand scheme of things. But if they said, I want to be on here, I really need it.
Well, she drove an hour with her friend. So, so you think a leader would have ended his podcast early because one of the girls chose to get drunk on her own dime?
Or yes, I think it would have sped it up. I think it would have tried to not include her or something like that, and say, "Oh, you're getting too drunk." Maybe even addressed it and just like, "Hey, we're gonna wrap this up. You're looking silly, pretty much."
No, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not her mom. I'm not her babysitter. She's entitled to do whatever the fuck she wants. I believe people are adults and they can make their own decisions. I don't own her. I shouldn't. It would be weird if I was micromanaging or telling her, "Oh, you're getting a little too drunk. Can you like not drink, please?" Because like if you do, I'm gonna end the podcast early. Yeah, no, I'm not gonna end the podcast early because some chick decided to get drunk. Nope.
Well, would you do that for a dude? Like if a dude was getting drunk and like a little bit like messing up the podcast, making it a little bit worse, like wouldn't you do that if like a dude was doing that?
Well, she wasn't. No, I would not. I would not treat a dude any differently than I would treat a girl in that situation. Yeah, if a dude wants to get drunk on his own on my podcast, that is his prerogative. I'm not going to end the podcast early because he decided to get drunk.
Well, so like, but then you said it's better if they're not drunk. So I'm not getting that. If it's better if they're not drunk and they're getting drunk, feel like why? How do they have access to all those drinks?
Because quite often they bring it themselves. I mean, sure, I have drinks and I offer every person that comes into my pals like, hey, do you want the water? Do you want a drink? Yeah, I'm a good host, but I'm not fucking pouring drinks during the podcast trying to get these people drunk. She had her own like fucking water bottle of vodka or something like that.
Okay. I would say still in that case, if you still notice they get drunk, but I would say if if you come from my worldview, I would say just speed it up. And then the only thing I'd bring it all back to that is if somebody says, what's that again?
You can start your own Blue Pill podcast, and you can end it as early as you like, and you can run it the way you want, and you're fully.
It's not even Blue Pill.
But
what do you mean? That even No Jumper would do that. If somebody was drunk,
I'm certainly not going to end my podcast early because some bimbo decided to get drunk on her own. I'm not gonna sacrifice the quality of the show for my audience and end it early and ruin the fun because I owe this chick parental guardianship rights to not let her embarrass herself.
Because when I were talking about Blue Pill, you're just you're using that word to try to make it seem like I'm incoherent. But even Adam 22 from No Jumper, they what was it, the Boonk Gang thing? Like that guy was obviously off of not beer, but I'm saying that guy was off of something, and he even said he probably should. It's like a 50-50. Like he came in there, like he said, barged in, kind of a similar situation. Said, "Oh, I want to interview," while he was drunk, and he tried to end it. He just didn't end it the right way. I'm 50-50. I think he should have. I think he shouldn't have put the interview out, to be honest with you. But he said that was kind of messed up. It's kind of messed up. But the way he justified it is, well, it was gonna get done anyway or something like that. But I don't think you should have put an interview out with the Boonk Gang because he was throwing up. It was I don't know if he threw up exactly there, but he wasn't really in a good state. And there's plenty of times that Adam Twitter, somebody that is not Blue Pill, has not put out an interview because the person was inebriated or the person was under the influence of drugs, and it's that's a very common practice. If somebody's kind of getting a little bit too lit, then maybe you just you can speed it up. You can try to force you can take control of the situation. Now, if you're on Drink Champs, that's a whole different thing because in Drink Champs you're supposed to drink. That's the whole idea. So all I'm saying is you do have the control.
I've seen countless podcasts and interviews with Adam 22 where his guests were way more fucked up than any guest I've ever had on, not just on alcohol, but on multiple drugs. And Adam still puts it out there. So I don't think you can use him as a moral authority when he's gone way further on that than I ever have.
All right, cool.
All right, do you have anything else? Or?
No. The main thing is when somebody says they're suicidal, emotionalized stuff, why would you still continue to film them? I think even John Anthony even made a joke that said he was somebody was crying to you emotional, and your first idea was to film them. That's where I guess the last thing I would kind of say is I would just admit that you needed the girls more than you had any sort of ethics or sort of principles to say, I don't want to film that. I don't want to film that. And that the following disrespect that happened was still your fault because you found somebody that was emotional and suicidal and said, I want to put them on camera. So you have no excuse for allowing that sort of disrespect towards you. You just wanted it to happen for the content.
I don't need an excuse for it. Personally, I don't really it wasn't I was up all night oh my god, that chick disrespected me. It didn't affect me at all. It's when a homeless guy fucking yells shit at me. I don't sit there for an hour thinking that. It didn't affect me at all. I think it affected the audience much more than it affected me. I didn't give a shit. I laughed it off. And after the show ended, actually, she said one more thing that pissed me off, and then I really told her off. So that did happen after the show. I didn't really want to do it on camera for a variety of reasons. But yeah, in terms of you're making it sound for example, I saw a drunk girl and then I just busted out the camera. In reality, it wasn't like that. We were filming a podcast. She came there for the podcast. And before the podcast that we were about to start, she told me some shit about herself. I asked her if she still wanted to continue. She said, yes, of course. I feel so much better now. She made that decision. I'm not going to stop the show because I should look out for her best interest. I have a million times more loyalty to my platform and to the people who want to see my show than do some random bimbo.
All right. I mean, that's how I kind of felt. So yeah, I think we agree on the assessment. I just wanted to get a chance to say it to you directly. But yeah, pretty much I guess closing statement is pretty much I think you needed that girl, or you wanted to have that girl be on that podcast and not do what she did specifically, but in general, you kind of allowed whatever happened to happen, but for your channel. And I know it sounds basic, but yeah, you allowed whatever happened to happen. You might not see it as disrespect, but you allowed that to happen for the sake of your channel and for views, which I don't like, but you're entitled to.
I think it was really good entertainment. Yeah, I thought it was good entertainment.
I All right, if you're admitting that, then I can't fault you. If that's how you feel, then that's how you feel. It's fine.
Well, I think the views and people agree on that. Like that podcast got like twice as much views as my regular podcast, and most of the
But-
people, whether they were talking positive or negative, they were talking about it. As a content creator, I have
Yeah.
an obligation to make content that people want to watch, rather
Yeah.
than put my own self desires and above that. No, I'm going to film content that people want to watch, as long as it doesn't go against something that goes against my values. Like, for example, there's a guy who emailed me. He's like, I'm not going to say his name, but he's basically known for cheating, right? He has like a whole thing on cheating and blah, blah, blah. And it would have been very entertaining. It would have gotten a lot of views. He has to come on my platform. And I said no, not because that would have gotten a lot of views, but because cheating, goes against my values. So I'm not going to do that. But as long as it doesn't go against my values, and letting a random chick who I don't see as my level just fucking make a fool of herself does not really violate any of my values.
All right, and then, but what I would also last little stinger is I would also say for that specific podcast, for that specific instance, you were no better than Fresh and Fit. That's all I'm gonna say.
Well, me and Fresh and Fit would have handled the situation totally differently. I mean, she was on Fresh and Fit, and you can see how that ended. Fresh and Fit kicked her out. They were super rude to her. I think I was very respectful to her. I didn't kick her out. I didn't cut her mic. I didn't get into like a mini fight with her. So yeah, I don't know how you can say that when I literally handled her so differently than Fresh and Fit did.
I'm not even Fresh and Fit handled her at least with, and again, this is based off of my perception of what disrespect is for in a general sense. At least they didn't tolerate the disrespect in their own house. That's what I say with Fresh and Fit. And Myron, and obviously Myron has a different code of ethics and all that stuff, but at least he said, you know what, I don't have to deal with this. Maybe you have a different threshold for disrespect and all that stuff, but still.
He's not nearly as sensitive as Myron. Like, it's very hard to get me riled up. In fact, a random person can't even get me riled up. The only person that can get me riled up is like my girlfriend, my mom, and a very close friend of mine. A random chick is not capable of getting me riled up. A random person I'm debating isn't capable of getting me riled up because I don't give a shit. And so that's the difference. Myron really gives a shit, and he really needs people to respect him. He needs that, right? Because his ego is on the line. And if someone gives him even the tiniest bit of disrespect, his brain can't handle it. I don't give a fuck. I'm very confident in who I am and what I'm about, and other people's opinions don't affect me at all, except unless it's like people who I'm really, really close to.
I know we're not talking about like random girls like calling you like short or saying you have a funny hairline.
Random girl. I'm not dating her. I'm not seeing her again. She's not my business partner. She's a random girl. She's no one to me.
No, but I'm saying like it's not like she was just like you were at a bar and she tries to like do the weird girl thing where they try to like insult you to see how you can handle it or something like that. It wasn't like a situation like that where you can take it for a little bit and then it's gonna flip or something like that. She was just being.
I'm a lot more brutal with girls when it's the cameras are off. I've actually kicked girls out of my house when on dates and stuff like that, because that's totally different. Because one, I don't want to set a bad example for the male audience who's very impressionable. That the way to deal with a good game when you get conflict is to kick the girl out. But I am actually a lot more, let's just say, asshole-ish when it's on my own. But when the camera's on, I want to set a good example. Also, it's really good content. So even though I don't enjoy her presence, she's providing good content for my audience, so that kind of balances it out.
Oh no, but I mean, not really. Like, if you're saying it's for the views, that's fine. But like I'm saying, like that did set a bad example because most men would consider what she did as disrespect. So you're setting the example of I'm allowing disrespect, and that's just because you have a very high threshold and you're different. But it's still I think most guys should kick out girls like that. That's what I would say.
Okay, I mean, like, look at the way me and Allende have had this discussion. He's talking about this publicly. The way Allende, who I consider someone who's very alpha, his fucking thing is authentic alphas. This is what he says, and I kind of agree with this thought process. It's like, I'm not gonna fucking like argue with girls. I'm not getting into it with them. I'm not gonna do that. Like, that's cute. That's his reaction when a girl like talks shit to him. He's like, that's cute. I don't care.
No, and I agree. Yeah, I get that, but like we're talking about some girl like saying what's you have like that's like me. If I were to argue with a girl that said I have weird hair or something like that, I would be like a beta loser or whatever. But like we're not talking about that. We're talking about like disrespect on your platform. Because And then, we're talking about disrespect. Well, not even gonna say it on platform. But we're talking about disrespect inside your own house, like getting really riled up. Just like not cooperating. Like it's not like a. It's not like a little. It's not. We're not talking about girls being like a little bratty. Like that's. I feel like that's a really big difference.
Yeah, she's an emotionally unstable cunt who
Yeah.
gets really pissed off and flips off and has a very questionable ethic system. So fucking what? I'm not trying to date this girl. I'm not trying to do business with her. She's not going to be a repeating guest on my channel.
Yeah.
She wants to act a fool on my platform,
Yeah.
which gets me views. I'm not going to complain about it.
All right, that makes sense.
All right, cool. All right, man. Thanks.
Bye,
Appreciate
man.
it. Take care. Alex, were you a trust fund baby? Serious question. No, I was not a trust fund baby. I had a business when I was like 13. We were upper middle class, but my dad always had me work. I never had anything handed to me. I always worked hard for everything I have. Okay, cool. Let's bring on the next person. I think the next person is Dennis Wynn. He's been waiting. We'll just go as long as it takes tonight. We'll go for another hour or whatever. I just want to make sure I get through everyone. I'm not going to, I know you guys are saying go through the people faster, but I want to give each person a chance to speak. I'm not going to like try to cut people off and cut them short. I'll try to move it as soon as possible, but I don't want to cut people off. Okay, what up?
Yo, what's up, Alex? I have a couple different points.
Okay, sure.
The first one is, in your video today, you said IG is close to useless. You really believe that?
If you have a really good, well, I preface it by saying that if you have a really good Instagram, no, it can be very useful. But for most guys, yeah, I do think it's close to useless.
Why do you think for most guys it's close to useless? Because if you like post stories on there, you know, like they will like keep viewing it and whatnot.
Because most guys have subpar. Well, what I really meant was, maybe I should have explained it more, but what I really meant is a phone number is a lot more useful than an Instagram close. So the point I was trying to make is you should get the girl's phone number. Don't go for the Instagram. I think 99% of guys don't really have good Instagrams. Their Instagram is not on point. Of course, you should try to strive to make your Instagram better. But I do this all day. I review people's Instagrams and all that shit. And the majority of guys, their Instagram is not good. And for those guys, for 99% of men, they're better off getting the girl's phone number than getting her Instagram.
I usually like get both and text them. But with Instagram, you know, it shows like what you're doing every day. So it like keeps their interest. So that's why I disagree with you. But I understand what you're saying if you don't like.
Well, I actually do both too. But I'm an exception to the rule. I do have a pretty good Instagram. So I actually do both too. I get the phone number and the Instagram. But most guys are not me. Most guys don't have photos of them with porn stars or them traveling. So I don't I try to make content for like the average guy, not for like myself, right? Because I am in some ways an exception to some rules. Not saying I'm like some like high profile figure, but you know, I'm not the average girl. I'm not the average dude, right? So basically I think for the vast majority of guys, it's a much better decision to get the phone number, and I will definitely stand by that decision, that statement.
Don't you think you should recommend they should like build their Instagram and like build an interest in life so you can keep their attention?
Yeah, but this was I have videos on Instagram where I say just that, but this was a video on cold approach.
Okay. All right, I'll move on to the next point.
Okay.
You said you like don't buy your girlfriend food and stuff like that. Don't you think like that's a masculine trait to like take care of the female?
Oh my God. I'm glad you asked that because this has been like a meme. It's pretty funny actually. Okay. First of all, I didn't say that. My girlfriend said that. She said she was trying to make, she was exaggerating. She was trying to make the point.
Was she, Alex? Was she really?
She was. She was trying to make the point that Alex is not like my sugar daddy. I'm not in it for money. I'm in it because I really like him. And she kind of went far to drive that point home. In reality, the way it works with me and my girlfriend, we typically take turns. Sometimes I'll pay for dinner. Sometimes she will pay for dinner. I would say probably 2/3 of the time I pay for dinner. That's because I just make a lot more money than her. And she makes good money, but I just make more money than she does. That's how I am with like anyone who I'm close to. So when I go out with like my friends who are not that successful, I just pick up the tab every time. When I go out with my friends who are very financially successful, we'll usually split it, right? And with her, she's kind of in between that where she makes decent money, but she's not like on my level of finances. So typically I'll pay like 2/3 of the time or something.
Okay. you think like RSD is bad and they gave like bad advice?
I don't think it's as simple as that. I think there is some good RSD content. There was good RSD content out there. Unfortunately, they took most of it down. I certainly learned a lot from RSD myself, and I've been pretty public about that. But yeah, I think most of their content now is dog shit.
Why are you saying that? You don't think it like helps people, or?
Yeah, I think it's a lot of bullshit, new agey kind of circle jerk type of things. They got rid of like the practical, tangible, like actionable advice that I remember that I discovered when I got into RSD around 2013, and now it's more like mental masturbation, woohoo type of content.
I would agree with you. They definitely don't focus on technique as much.
Yeah, I mean, well, they've basically kind of said it. They're like, yeah, after we had our Julian Gate, we're being extremely careful. They don't even call themselves dating or pickup anymore. They're
self-help.
They literally abandon themselves.
I just went and saw Owen like 3 weeks ago when he was in Chicago.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know what your experience was like, but I can tell you, I've been going to RSD free tours since like 2012. And like for the first few years, they were great. There was a lot of value there, but every year they just got worse and worse and worse. Around 2016 or 2015, I stopped going because it was just like dog shit. There was no value.
Okay. And then my last point I have is like you promote like drugs like Kratom and Kava and stuff like that. And I think that's a bad influence and you shouldn't promote like drug use.
Well, first of all, let's put in mind we're using the word drug loosely, right? These are not illegal drugs, so these are things that you can buy in stores. These are not things that are illegal. So we're using the word drug loosely, like kind of like the way caffeine
influences the mind, like.
Okay, yeah, I just want to clarify that we are using the word drug loosely. We're not like talking about legal drugs.
Mind-altering substances.
Yeah, I don't actually tell people they should take it. I don't promote it. I just share what I do. People always ask me, Alex, what are you drinking during the podcast? I'm like, I'm drinking kava. I'm just going to tell the truth. I'm not going to hide it from my audience. And I think there are some legit benefits to drinking kava, right? And honestly, there's really not any downsides with kava. Kratom is a more 50-50. But with kava, potential liver damage, but that hasn't even been scientifically proven. So, yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I think kava is good. It helped me. When people ask me, hey, Alex, I don't want to drink anymore. I want to get off alcohol, but, I still have social anxiety. I'm going to say kava because it helps me. It helped John Anthony, helped a whole bunch of other people I know. Why would I not share that with my audience?
I can see why you say that. I just think like you shouldn't have crutches and whatnot because you use it once and then you're like, oh, like I need this to like approach girls, like if I don't have my kratom, if I don't have my kava, like then I can't do approaches. So
yeah, I mean, I don't think you should use things as crutch. I can certainly approach girls without kava or kratom, but I prefer doing cold approach or doing podcasts where I'm drinking kava. It puts me in more social, like fluid state. Kratom helps me with creativity. Honestly, a lot of the content that you guys love and that you thought was creative probably wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for Kratom. Honestly, it really like skyrockets my creativity. So, I'm not going to like deny that or like hide about that. I'm just extremely upfront about, everything that I do.
How long have you been on it for?
Well, I mean, like the word on, like how long have I been taking it? Kratom, because I'm not like addicted to like kava, right? I could stop drinking kava. I've been taking kratom for maybe 6-7 years. Kava maybe 3 years.
Okay.
I think that's a lot better than the alternative. The alternative is usually alcohol.
Yeah, I would agree with you. But
yeah, someone said this. Kratom is a lifesaver for people with chronic pain. I've had daily, and also for the side note, I do have chronic pain. I have Lyme disease. I have a neck injury.
So it lowers your sex drive, though. Kratom.
For me, dude, it actually makes my sex better. I actually can fuck a lot longer and better when I'm on kratom.
If you like long use, though, I'm saying, like if you use it a lot. But yeah, those are pretty much all the points I had. So
okay, cool.
Thank you for having me on. Peace out, Alex.
It was a pleasure, Dennis. I'll see you later. Cool. Thank you. Okay, let's get Stefan on. Hello.
Can you hear my mic?
Yeah.
Okay, this is going to be quick. I'm not going to
We're not going to do any monologues today.
Nah, people took my shtick, so I don't want to do it anymore. They kind of stole my thunder.
Okay, cool.
I don't even know if you actually really disagree, but I think naturals are clearly better than pickup artists, even without learning formal game. I know you did say you think a natural who actually does learn formal game is like the best, like the peak of game. But I'm saying in their base form, just from what I've seen, naturals typically outperform like even like pickup artists that people like, whether you want to name A.G. Hayden or whoever. I'm sure there's some outliers, but
well, it really depends. Yeah, it really depends on what natural and what pickup artist. What I see typically is, well, basically what you're doing as a pickup artist, you're trying to rewire your brain to have a lot of those natural type of tendencies and habits and thought processes while also understanding formal game. Sounds kind of nerdy, but that's what it is. So yeah, from what I've seen, a natural who learns game is usually unstoppable. That's, again, I have a pretty small sample pool, but I would reference the friend that I keep talking about in college. He was a natural. He was always good with girls, and then he learned game, and that guy was unstoppable. I would venture to say if he didn't get married, he would be the best right now. Like his infield would be insane. I mean, that guy was just so fucking good at such a young age. He was only like 21 when we used to go out. If he kept at it for another few years, if he didn't get married, I mean, like, I think there would be no stopping that guy. He was so fucking good. So yeah, that's kind of why I think that that's a really powerful combination. But yeah, I think there's some naturals who are better than pickup artists. And I think there's some pickup artists who are better than naturals. We'd have to be more specific so that I can.
Well, I have two basic reasons why I think, like, if you were to take on, like, on average, like, or the median of like the whole population of just naturals versus pickup artists, there's going to be outliers either way, but I think the median natural would be better. Is because one, they I guess I'll try not to go past three, but one, a lot of the like social development and like niche maxing as black pillars call it, or I think I may have coined the term, but a lot of that stuff that has a lot to do with inner game. First off, they start out, they get a lot of that out the way in their formative years, so they're already starting typically, with a year's worth of a head start. So that's one thing. So by the time they're like 21 or whatever, a 21-year-old pickup artist who mastered formal game from, like, even if you only watch the really good pickup artists, first off, he's starting at a deficit. So even if he can master some of the formal techniques, or he can like mirror certain behaviors really well in real time, there's going to be certain things hardwired into the natural, just because from 12 or 13 up through college, he was already naturally going, like, he was in warm environments, cold environments, lukewarm environments.
Yeah, I don't know, Steph. I see where you're going with this. I gotta disagree, and unfortunately, I don't think we're gonna get to the truth because there's like no studies that's been done on this. It would be very interesting to see some kind of a study on this. That's never gonna happen, but
maybe I'll do one.
I mean, I don't know. You would need massive amounts of funding. But the counter argument I would give is, back when I was more into cold approach, I would actually compete against naturals, and I would usually take their girls. And that's simply because, not because like I'm more confident or charismatic than them, because they simply did not know what to do in certain situations. Like, for example, right? Like you have like two guys going for the same girl. You're competing for the girl, right? And I'm like competing against like a guy who I can tell is a natural. One thing that I would do that they just would never know what to do is I would just box them out with my body language. That's like a little bit of like a emogging pickup technique, is you just box the person out and they would never know what the fuck to do. They would just kind of stand there looking confused and then walk away. So
see, I wouldn't. Okay, maybe we have a different definition of a natural, because I don't think that wouldn't even happen to a natural. Like, okay, like for instance, when Coach Whitepill says he's a natural, which I guess technically speaking might be true because he had a lot of women through like school or warm approach or whatever before he even learned pickup. Somebody like him, I wouldn't even look at it.
Whitepill is not a fucking natural. Jesus Christ.
I mean, but I'm just saying the naturals that I've competed with or even just seen in action or been friends with, or just, went to the same school as or whatever, something like that, you wouldn't beat them by just boxing them out. Like that, you would have to actually get in the set, get down and dirty. You would have to, like, unless the guy was like some 5'7" guy who was super nice or something, and he just didn't want conflict with you or something, I can't really see that happening. Because like anytime I've been in a set and there's other naturals,
I think where naturals fall short is they just like don't know how to handle certain unpredictable situations, like certain situations that are uncommon. They just don't know how to handle them. And that's kind of what pickup teaches you, is to have like a game plan in every situation. I think this is a little bit of a mute debate, because really there's no way we could get to the bottom of this. It's just us speculating. I'm speculating that I think a pickup artist who's good is going to be better than natural. You're speculating that a natural is going to be better. There's really no way we can get to the bottom of that, honestly.
well, when I'm in Miami, you can film me versus A.G. Hayden, and we can see who pulled. Well, and I'll compete with the same girls. We can pick white girls, black, mixed, Asian. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
And I'll probably win.
You consider yourself a natural?
Yeah, because I mean, I've even back when I was in college, me and my friends, we would like look up like keys to the VIP videos and mystery method, and we would like laugh at them because like we were like, this is a bastardized version of game.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't put you in the like, if I had to choose, I would say you have better game than someone like A.G. Hayden.
No, I definitely don't think so. I've gone out with A.G. Hayden. I've actually like requested his feedback privately about some of my infield, so I can see what I can improve. And he actually helped identify certain things that I was falling short on.
And Charisma King, you have better game than Charisma King too.
That one is more debatable. I haven't really seen too much infield of him, so I can't really quite comment on that one. But and I have never gone out with him. But yeah, dude, sure, I would be down to do that. I mean, it would be tricky. We have to, because he doesn't live in Miami; he lives in Vegas. So you guys would both have to be here at the same time. But if we can make that happen, then sure, yeah, why not?
Now, yeah, I'll try to let you know ahead of time, and then hopefully I'll.
Well, talk to him directly and see when he's.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Now I think because we've argued one time in your comments, so I think hopefully he won't back down. But my last point is on why I think they're better. Well, before I get to that, when you brought up the unpredictable situation thing, I think that's, and again maybe it is a moot point, but I think that's not likely to be true in most situations, because like naturals, they were already competing with other like popular guys, alphas, chads, Tyrones, dudes with money, athletes. Like they were already in those circles, approaching the hottest women, the most popular girls. So they were already, having to worry about cock blocks, having to worry about, logistics not going their way all the time because, girls are jealous, or a girl's boyfriend, or like a male friend is trying to cock block him because he's jealous. Dudes are jealous as a whole because they see this guy on campus dating girls or whatever all the time. So they've had to deal with certain. It wasn't like people were just rolling out the red carpet like, oh, you're a natural, bro. I'm just going to let you talk to the girl I really like. No, these guys, they were cock blocking me, guys like me. So I know they were cock blocking, the even more, prominent naturals. But my last point is, which is not really quantifiable, I think naturals, they already have the pinnacle of like when Coach Whitepill says he can teach swag, which I disagree with. They already have the pinnacle of quote unquote swag or charisma or sex appeal or presence that guys like Coach Whitepill think you can teach. Now, even A.G. Hayden, for example, I do think he understands some concepts well, and like as far as formally explaining game and getting across the concepts so that somebody else can put them into practice. I think he's good at that. So he could like be some type of professor of game. But when I watch A.G. Hayden's infields, I'm not impressed. Like I don't see anything special. I mean, he's like, okay, he has okay social skills. His humor is pretty good, I guess. Like he's kind of like this dry.
Well, I thought you said you were not going to go on a monologue.
Oh yeah, no, but this is my last point though. But my point is, someone like A.G. Hayden, for everything that he gets right about like formal game, I think he would lose to someone like me in terms of the intangibles. Because again, naturals, they already have the pinnacle of what guys like A.G. Hayden are trying to recreate. And so by virtue of that, naturals don't deal with like any overthinking usually. They don't deal with like a lot of the mental blocks that a lot of pickup artists might deal with. So I think women, because they're more in tune to that. I know if somebody like me can sense that when I see these infields of different people versus you or versus another, like a me or versus another natural. I know women are probably more, they can more acutely tell those
your
differences.
monologue.
That's it. I'm done.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. I mean, I'd love to see that if we can coordinate it. I'm certainly going to be down. I live in Miami, so yeah, I'm down to do it.
Sounds good. I'll let you know. I'll hit A.G. Hayden and Charisma King up.
All right. Cool. Take care, buddy. Thanks for coming
All right.
on.
Take it easy.
Alrighty. All right, we're moving through these in slightly faster than lightning speed. Yeah, and Black Silver. Oh, it would be cool to have a conversation because you have done a few videos critiquing my videos, and I think you're pretty fair from what I've seen, at least to me. I haven't really watched your other stuff, so it would be cool to have a dialogue and you can kind of throw out the things that you agree and disagree with me on. But if you don't want to do it, that's fine. Okay. Let me bring on this guy. He said he was going to be quick. Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, what's up?
Yeah, I just want to give you a little background from where I'm coming from. So I was consuming your content about a year ago, and I went through a pretty bad breakup. And that was like the only girl I ever slept with. So I simped pretty hard. And coming around to all this pickup stuff, I've learned that there's a lot of things that are, really good for you, in the mindset of like, hey, I have the capability to go and date a girl and sleep with her. But then on the other aspect, there's all these psychopathic tendencies I see that happen where, I could go and do these really strategic things that make me sleep with a girl right away and just, be one and done with her. So my question is, how would you navigate through a more ethical way of pickup?
Well, that depends on your ethics. Everyone's ethics are different. I mean, you can only live by your set of ethics. Who am I to tell you what is a right set of ethics for you to have? I would consider myself fairly ethical, decently so. So I don't know. I think honesty is a big one, with the exception of like white lies. Having a set of values that you live by. I mean, I don't know. We'd have to get more specific.
Yeah. So I guess one of the things that I am interested in is, obviously a one-way open relationship. But the one video that you had explained that you got through that through investment. And I did question you once before on whether or not that was sleazy, and I don't really mean anything by it. I might be missing something here, but how long did you wait before that actually came to fruition?
It was we were fuck buddies for about a year or maybe a year and a half before we started. No, wait, 2 years. Yeah, we were fuck buddies for like a year and a half, 2 years before we started dating. But just to be clear, it wasn't like I was like sitting there for like those 2 years and being like, yeah, let me get more investment. It was just like, that's what I felt like at the time. And then, we grew to like each other and care about each other more. And then that's when kind of being in a relationship became more appealing to me.
Okay. And then she knew the whole time, right?
Knew what?
That you were always going to sleep with other women.
Well, when we were fuck buddies, yeah, I was obviously fucking other girls. And when we got into a relationship, yeah, I mean, we had a discussion, and we discussed it. She knew, I mean, I didn't really have to explain to her. She kind of knew what I was like and what I wanted and what I didn't want. So, yeah, it was a pretty easy conversation.
Okay. Yeah, I guess that makes sense because in my perspective, I did date one girl and it came to that whole relationship talk. And I did bring that up in some way that, I felt that she would be, open to it, but she politely declined. So yeah, makes sense. I think bringing it up early on would probably help.
Yeah, well, not every girl's going to go for it, but some will, some won't.
Yeah. Okay, and then I guess the other thing I have is just like one criticism when you debate the social justice warriors, and specifically James Stein. There was this one debate you had with him when you brought on like some article on Forbes. So that is going to be, it's kind of a trap, because if you have a PhD like that, he's going to be able to read the actual scientific literature and just tell you some roundabout way how you're wrong. So you have to look at the source directly rather than those Forbes articles, because those are just written by some reporters and they can misinterpret that.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I typically my style of debating as I hate playing like the study game, because literally for anything you could find a study. Like let me make a claim. Dogs can fly. I bet you I could probably find a fucking study that suggests that. Like literally for anything. Like, let me do a more realistic one. We never landed on the moon. Okay, I guarantee you I can find like multiple like studies and shit for that. Women secretly love really old men. I bet you could find some shit for that. So literally for anything nowadays, you can find a study. So I kind of hate playing the study game and going back and forth. It's just like, that's his style. So I'm going to like play his game. But generally speaking, that's not like my style of approaching, because I think it's like pretty, I don't know, it's not that fun. And, but yeah, point taken.
Yeah. I mean, other than that, I think the only other thing that you kind of let him off easy on was the sexism of the gaps fallacy, and him just sneaking in the patriarchy as a premise. He still has to prove that it exists before he can use that in an argument.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I thought that was an interesting debate. I wanted to get him on for part 3, but he kind of bitched out. But yeah, I thought the first one, it was kind of a draw. I thought the second one I kind of won, but it wasn't like a big victory. And yeah, I could have done some things better for sure.
Yeah, and I think my honest opinion is that the left has no real arguments against game. It's really weird, because they are really for self-expression of your identity, but any kind of improvement in how you express yourself towards women, with game, and game is just really actions and behaviors that women find attractive. They think of that as like manipulation and coercion, but like I try to argue against that by saying women have free will and they have the freedom to choose. So it's almost like there's this infantilization of women that happens on the left.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, some of their logic and arguments against pickup is super cringe.
Yep. But that's all I got. So yeah, thanks for having me on.
Thanks for coming on, dude. Appreciate you. All right, cool. Let's just have on like maybe like 1 or 2 more people, and then we'll wrap up. Okay, what's up, Greg?
Yo, what's up, man?
How's it going?
Not bad, not bad. See, I'm going to make this short and sweet. So I wanted to ask you a question. So like you used to go on Hinge, right?
Yeah.
Like way back when? Yeah. So has the algorithm like ever fucked up for you? So like you start seeing only like ugly girls, like bad profiles, like really, really like disgusting girls. Like it would go from like really hot girls to like really like ugly girls. And then like you can't do anything about it. Like no matter what you do, it's just like,
yeah,
kind of like.
I can explain that. That's actually pretty common. So what happens is, okay, let me try to give you the short and sweet version of it. So basically, whenever you join an app, right, your algorithm scores artificially inflated, right? Because they want you to buy, they want you to stay on. They want you to have a really good experience during the first week. But then what happens after the first week or that first 5 days is configure it to your real algorithm. And Hinge is actually more strict in terms of that than the other apps. So for example, if Bumble thinks you're a 6, Bumble will show you 7s and 8s. It'll show you 5. It'll show you a little bit of everything, right? But Hinge is like actually a lot more strict. So if Hinge thinks you're like a 5, you'll only see 5s.
Oh shit.
It won't show you. So that's the thing. When I was on Hinge, I would actually see hot girls, but that's because I have a really good profile. So that's just what happened is that you got that new boost, and then the algorithm reconfigured and shows you what it thinks your profile is. So the only way to get around that is to just have a better profile.
I found like one way around it was like you set the distance to like less. If I set it to like 6 miles, I'll start getting good looking girls again. But then like once I run out, it's like, Yeah, but also wanted to talk about like infields. So
Okay.
like I like urine fields and I like Indian peas infields, but like kind of like going back to like the whole remember how you were saying kind of like it's not the best to like try to like fuck girls when they're drunk, and you know kind of like I guess if you know them and you guys are drinking a little bit, that's fine. But like for the first impression, like if you're kind of cold approaching and like picking up drunk girls,
Mhm.
so kind of
Yeah.
like what yeah, so like kind of like what John was doing with like that Josh guy, I forget like what his name was. They're kind of, you know, going to the club, kind of like bringing back the girls drunk. Do you think that's actually like good infield if they're like doing it like, well, I know John doesn't drink right now, but like, you know, picking up like drunk girls and just kind of like, you know.
I think it's one type of infield. I mean, you know,
Mhm.
it would be a little different if everyone's partying and drinking. So ideally, as a dating coach, you should have like party infield, day game infield, like
Yeah.
quiet coffee shop infield. So ideally, you would have a diversity of
Mhm.
infield. But yeah, it's one type of infield, and it kind of does change the situation. I don't think it like really. It just creates a new set of obstacles, but it's also easier in some ways. So
Yeah.
I don't think it's good or bad. It's just different.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, it's pretty much it, you know, keeping it short and sweet.
Cool. All right. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate you coming
Thanks, you,
on.
man. Yep. Take care.
Okay. All right, guys. I'm gonna take a piss really quick, and then we'll have on like one more person. So let me just use the bathroom. 2 seconds. All right, had to do it. All right, let's bring on one last person. I guess this guy dropped out. Okay. I mean, yeah, I'll have this guy on. We've already had a discussion like a few days ago.
Yo,
But what's going on?
so I wanted to talk a little bit about the drinking thing.
Okay.
So you voiced some concerns about how you wouldn't like bang a drunk girl, right?
Yeah.
So when you invite a girl over with that like overused line with the romantic balcony, you always like offer to have some wine, right?
I think there's a big difference between having a glass or two of wine and fucking a chick who's wasted.
But
You
like
know?
who draws that line though? Like technically it's still in the legal kind of bounds, you know?
I don't have any issues with fucking a girl who had a glass of wine. I think that's totally fine. But there's a difference to me between that and her being like blackout wasted. Who draws that line? I don't know. I think you gotta just use some common sense. If the girl is like fucking stumbling and just all over the place, then yeah, that's gonna be a little dicey. Also, I think that you're not really gonna get that drunk with like a bottle of wine split between two adults. That's going to happen more with hard alcohol. So, you know, if you want to like make sure that it keeps, you know, stays on like the up and up, then you would just like, you know, just stop it at one bottle of wine. If she's like, oh, let's have one more, you'd be like, oh, shit, I actually don't want to drink too much. I hate hangovers. You just do something like that.
Right. No, I get that, but it's like it's still drinking involved, and like people at different weights can be affected differently. The point is it can get legal, right? That's what I mean. Like there's still an element of drinking involved, and you kind of want to avoid that so you don't face any sort of legal issues, you know?
I don't know. I think that's kind of like being overly paranoid. I think alcohol is a social lubricant. It's very socially acceptable. I don't see any issue with having like one glass of wine
I
with a
mean, I
girl.
agree with you. It's just like that it can potentially have some risk, you know, and you want to minimize risk as much as you can. But
I think it comes down to like your risk tolerance. So, for example, anytime you get in a car, you risk a drunk driver hitting you and killing you, right? It's just a very small risk, but you probably wouldn't drive around at 2 a.m. on New Year's, right? Because that risk is much higher. So everyone has a different like level of risk tolerance. I think the risk with having one glass of wine is really, really low, but sure, it's more risky than having zero alcohol in theory. But for me, like I'm okay with the risk of having one glass of wine because I think that risk is really, really low. But
Okay.
I'm not okay with the risk of having like the girl being blacked
Yeah,
out.
yeah. Okay. So I just want to clarify that you're okay with like a little bit of risk tolerance there. But so for the other thing, we didn't actually ever debate the online versus cold approach, like this whole debate. Like, so I wanted to like address that a little bit. So
Okay.
when you go like online, not only is it more convenient, but also there's more risk mitigation as well. Like you already know the woman is interested in you, right? Given that you guys matched. So it's not kind of out of the blue and you're putting her in the spotlight when you approach a woman like cold approach, right? You're kind of putting her on the spotlight. So I think online is a lot better for like those two reasons. Just wanted to hear your take.
I'm personally, yeah, I mean, I see your logic. I'm personally not worried about the extremely negligible risk that can come from cold approaching and banging your girl. But if you are really have a really low risk tolerance, then sure, online is going to be better for you.
Yeah, yeah. I just think like it can also like ruin your rep potentially somehow if it's in cold. Like there's small chances of this, you know. Like
If you live in a decently sized city, I don't think that's going to happen. Only in like a really small town.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, anyway, those are like my main two things I wanted to say about between cold approach and online. But yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, anything else you want to say?
You look really nice today.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
The hairline's looking good. All right. All right, I'll hop off later.
Cool. Thanks for coming on. Bye-bye. All right, cool. That's basically everybody. Sweet. Okay, cool. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this live stream. I think we got through a lot of shit. But yeah, like if you guys want to like have a discussion with me about anything, you want to debate me, you disagree with some of my decisions, that's totally fine. Let's come on. Like I'm gonna do these maybe once a week, or I do these once in a blue moon. I mean, yeah, I do these like once a week, once every 2 weeks. So come on the next one. We can have a discussion about it, but don't just like complain in the comments and be like, Alex doesn't reply to my comments. Like, dude, like I can't reply to every comment. It is what it is. There's millions of comments, but I'm always down to have like a face-to-face discussion with anybody. So yeah, I think that that is the best way to get me to change my mind. Okay. Alex, a couple of things. First, will you ever create an external chat that's not this one where it won't be censored by the platform? Use Twitch instead. Potentially, but I don't have any plans right now. Cool to see when people call out and you respond to it. For sure, that's my style. Okay, cool. Well, I think that's basically it. Again, hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. We're gonna do the speed dating one tomorrow. It's gonna be juicy. I know you guys are enjoying those. And then we got the Black Pill panel on Sunday. That should be fun. We're gonna have what's his name? Wheat Waffles. What's his name? Fucking TFM. Me and Kevin. So that should be fun. And yeah, I think that should be juicy ones. But yeah, there should be a lot of good stuff coming up. So make sure you guys stay tuned. All right, appreciate y'all. Alex, will I see you in the banana suit? That is not going to be happening. That is the one thing I'm not going to do. I'm not going to put on a banana suit. No one cared who I was until I put on the banana suit. What's your take on shirtless pics on Bumble? I know you said they don't allow it, but I have one. Well, yeah. Well, I've just noticed that me and some of my clients, we've been getting our shirtless photos taken down. But yo, if you can have it, that's great. Maybe the algorithm is not flagging you for whatever reason. That's great. I'm Batman. All right, cool. Appreciate y'all. And until next time, peace.